What's going on, guys? How is everyone doing? I stepped away for a moment. I had some last minute things to attend to before we got the show started. Hello to everyone. I'm going to go through and I'm going to read all the comments. Oh, we got our first dislike of the night too. Go figure. Here, hold on. Let me fix this really quick. I got one little bit. I know someone's going to... We might have to leave the Johnny Quest little hair dip up there. Okay, whatever. We're going to have our little Nike swoosh on top of my head tonight. How is everyone doing? I hope we're all having a great time. Looks like we're in frame. Looks like we got the right coloring. I think we got the right height. Maybe we can back it out. No, that's too far. That looks good. There we go. Good height. Let's go with that. Guys, it is hot up here again. I don't even know what's going on. That's what the dislike is for? Yeah, being like a minute or two late. I totally believe it. Actually, I know exactly what the dislike is for this night. But we're not going to let the haters win. I'm going to go crank the air up even higher. We're having one of those weird weather days here in California where it's going to get up to 80 but also go down to 42 tonight. So it's really screwing things up. That's what we get for living in the desert. I'm going to crank it up a little bit more before we get started. Then I'll say hello to all of you guys. Well, hello! It's as if we did this just a second ago, right? Exciting. I think we have everything set up correctly now. We're not going to have to worry about anything. Like I said, give me a second to get mildly situated. And we're going to go through some of these comments and say hello to everyone. I do hope all of you are having a fantastic week as well. Let me turn this down a hair for myself. Let's see where we are at. Dana was the first one in the house tonight. Hello to you, Dana. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm shuffling, buddy. Right back at you. Hello to you as well and everyone else. Mr. Exquisite going on 6 weeks in a row now. Good to have you back again, buddy. And no, I do not have a tool on this end to help me keep track of that. I just try and remember as many people as I can. Who else do we have? Fat Girl Sewing, thank you again. I appreciate you being one of our viewers here on Bolo RAMA 2. If you guys don't know, we have a new tier. It's only $5 a month. It's real cheap, but gives you an opportunity to help us out with what we're doing. We're going to do a big push for it at the end of this month. We're going to probably have like a big special stream or something like that to try and really encourage funding coming into 2020. So, but if you want to help out early, there it is. It would really help us out. Hello to you though, Fat Girl Sewing. Happy to have you. Richard Eberhardt, thank you, brother. Always good to see you here. We still got to get you a little icon for your YouTube logo. Beth Bryant, pleasure to have you as well. Another one of our very successful patrons. I don't know if you guys know that we do actual work within the Patreon group chat, but there has been some really cool items and some really good success stories that don't really make it to the front page of what we do. And it's not by design to be secretive, but it's that once you kind of have like a small sub-community going, we kind of keep a lot of the things that work within that community, and there's been a lot of really good success lately, and I know Beth is doing good. She's really starting to scale up, so good to see you here. KeyWeb Co., happy to have you in the house as always. Hope you're doing well. Lee James, hope you are all doing great this weekend. I like how he states it and he also questions it. Hope you're all doing great this weekend? Lee James is a great guy. We got to get on a phone call sometime, Lee. I'd love to chat with you. I think we chatted once before, if I remember correctly. Or at least I got my number out to you. Maybe it's kind of hard to remember, but I know we traded numbers. I'd still like to get on a call with you sometime. KeyWebco says he's working tonight. That's good. Yeah, you guys definitely make the most of this time. I won't be offended if you work at the same time you're watching my show. I'd actually be honored. It means that something's helping you get your job done and making money, and that's always good. Hope everyone is having a great Q4. That's what Simply Dana says, and drop some emojis. Guys, we have a brand new thing that we're launching tonight. I didn't even tell any of the admins about this. If you're doing a super chat tonight, there should be these new animated stickers that are available on my account. We went ahead and activated a new feature to be able to make that happen. So, and if any of you do, you may want to wait till the show actually starts, and then you can do that. We got a high spot here. You know, I really need a hair and makeup person. You know, do you think we've scaled that far? Or am I still a small-time YouTuber? Do you think I could afford a makeup person yet? Lee James says the end result of work is the best. I agree completely. And we are going to be talking a lot about Q4 today as well, too. So if you have any questions regarding Q4, last-minute prep, this is going to be your day to ask. Future Fortunes, good evening to you, buddy. Hope all is well. Last time we spoke about your family. I hope, I believe it was your mother. Hope she's doing good as well again. Pam's Flip Life, pleasure to have you in the house as always. If you haven't checked out Pam's Instagram yet, and we usually don't shout out members' Instagrams, but I will this time. We added it to our story. She put up a gorgeous picture of a Mahjong set that she has for sale on Mercari, and it is the epitome of beautiful staging. It's the type of stuff that you can't really get away with on eBay, for instance, just because of the way the backgrounds work and the way search works. But on Mercari, you can really get away with a lot of stuff, and she went all out, and she has this gorgeous photo of her setup. Totally worth seeing this the Mahjong set on her profile. So if you want to share your link, Pam, or get people connected to your Instagram, by all means. It's really, really nice looking. Jay, trying to grow facial hair. It is Movember. That means, you know what that means? That tells me you didn't watch last week's show. We are trying to raise money for the Movember organization. We're going to probably do a fundraiser thing at the end of the month to get some money for them. Right now, I've got to complete my goals, but basically we're trying to raise awareness for things that affect men specifically. So we're talking prostate cancer, testicular cancer, male suicide rate. You know, it's 3 out of every 4 suicides are men. It's 60 a minute is what it is. So we're just trying to bring some attention to it. People see the facial hair, they ask the question, and now we got a little bit more info out there for you. So if you know somebody who's struggling with any of those issues, you know, make sure they get in touch with a good organization that can be there for them. And, you know, we can put out some additional help within our page too during the month if you know anyone else who needs it. Any additional personal assistance. You are cooler than 4 Fonzies. Hey! I appreciate that, Eric in Ohio. Thanks for dropping in tonight. Corgi Hill Attic. Pleasure to have you again as always. Money from Mars on time. Happy to have you, buddy. Thanks for dropping on in. There's Pam's Instagram. And like I said, I don't usually talk about Instagrams, but it was a really, really good photo. And I even shared it to our business page's profile. And if you aren't following our show as well, make sure you take a moment and follow our show. Maybe you'll get featured here on our channel as well. Guys, it's 30 seconds out. I'm not ready. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not ready to start the show yet. I don't have everything I need ready. I'm still trying to gather my bearings right now. And yes, Louis Grace, you did get caught. That tells me not only did you not watch it live, you didn't watch the replay either. And I'm doubly offended now. Thank you for sharing my Instagram. Guys, if you haven't done so, make sure you silence your phones, okay? It's really rude when your phone goes off during my show, and we really don't want that happening. So, yeah, just a little bit quieter. Thanks. What is going on, guys? This is Jay Kraft with the Facebook group All Around Pickers Lounge, coming at you live again from beautiful Bakersfield, California. And today is November 10th, 2019, and I'm here with an amazing show for you today. We've got some interesting stuff that we're going to be talking about. A lot of, nonsense things that happen in the world of e-commerce that you, for some reason, have chosen to come back and listen to me instead of somebody else's Sunday night. And for that, I say thank you. But what do we have in store for you today? We're going to be talking about Jordan Sweetnam We're just going to call him Jordan for the rest of the show, probably. The senior vice president of eBay wrote a letter for everyone. It's disgusting. We're going to talk about prep for Amazon, Mercari, and eBay coming into Q4. And I know we're halfway through Q4, and you're thinking, Jay, what are you going to be able to tell us now that we haven't already done and we don't already know? Well, I'm going to give you those last-minute bits of advice that are going to help you scale up and probably make an extra couple $100, if not a couple $1,000, or save you a little bit of headaches coming through the holiday season, because, I mean, that's why we're here, right? Unless you're used to watching other content where we just kind of give you a whole bunch of fluff and filler and then send you on your way and pat you on your head and tell you good job. But we don't do that here. And then lastly, the thing that I enjoy doing the most, the thing that some of you are only here for and you wait the entire hour to see, so we're going to go through some pickups. I got some from here in Bakersfield, and I got a big pile from down in Fresno as well. I took a secret trip down there this week. So we're going to be doing a little bit of everything. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited for the 27 of you who are watching, the 13 who liked us, and the 4 people who disliked us. Welcome to every single one of you. Now, if you missed last week's show, okay, last week's was an important one as well. What do? We looked over some comments that people had left, and we responded to them in kind, which kind of is the lead up for the response to the letter this week, which we may even make a standalone video on that topic come this December. We also talked about restrictions that were coming to both eBay, Amazon, and Mercari, as well as some silent updates that they did and they didn't tell anyone about, specifically regarding their tobacco policies. We also looked at changes to how search is working on Amazon. Now, search has been changing on all the platforms lately. We've seen major changes on eBay. We announced major changes on Etsy as far as those getting excluded who don't have free shipping. And we also talked about the way that Amazon search works and the types of changes that you can see there. So, being here every single week, I know some of you come in here and you consume it religiously. You try and catch it on Sundays. Some of you catch it. I see a lot of activity come Monday morning. But making sure you stay plugged in every single week, it's really not for me, okay? It doesn't change much of anything. This week we're running ads on our video because we did not get a new patron. We did, but we lost them, and I'm going to talk about that real briefly later in the show because it's just kind of a nonsense blip on the radar. But being here every week and being able to follow the line of information, unlike Louis Grace, who missed last week's show, who says, I promise I will make up for missing last Sunday's live and replay. I will shout out your channel. Whoa, I'm getting a free shout out. Thank you. But if you miss an episode, you kind of miss a little bit of the discussion. And I understand that when you come back in, it can be a little bit tricky to catch up because you're missing like vital bits of a very, very long story that is e-commerce. And I want everyone to know when we're here, this is a wonderful opportunity to ask a tricky question you might have. If there's something that you generally might call into customer service about, something regarding terms of service, anything like that, this is a great place to ask it. If I don't have an answer on hand, somebody in the chat does. If nobody has it there, somebody in our group does. And you know what? If still nobody has the answer there, what did we do this week? We had somebody leave a comment regarding expired vitamins this week. And what did I do? I got on the phone with concierge and I got an email kicked out to me, and we got a final definitive ruling from eBay on a specific problem that a person had. And this person wasn't a patron either, but you know, we go out of our way to try and help you. And that's what this is about. Okay. I enjoy the entertainment aspect of it, but I would feel remiss if you walked away not learning something with your time here. If you want entertainment, there's like Game of Thrones, Stranger Things. We got some new Stranger Thing toys over here. Guys, anytime you ever see anything on this shelf, this section right here, I'll sell you anything from this section. Okay. I'm just going to be cycling nonsense through here, either inventory I have in the other room or just things that I'm looking to get rid of. So don't be afraid to ask. But there's so much great content out there for entertainment. I want to make sure that you walk away with some education, and we try our best to ride that center line, that edutainment category. Before we go further, I want to thank all of our admins for being here tonight. We got Pam. She's pretty much our general. She's making sure that everything's going well. We got Mama Mindy making sure that the house is staying comfortable and relaxed and nobody's fighting. We got Richard, who's our Mercari expert. If you haven't joined that Mercari group yet, guys, it's 250 members strong now. Okay. And I'm loving the conversation in there. A lot of people are learning a lot of things, but jump in that group if you want some help. And if you're looking to diversify into Mercari, and those of you who are wondering, yes, pretty much selling 3 to 5 items a week on Mercari right now. If you're wondering, is it worth my trouble to start selling on there? Yes. Yes, it is. You can definitely move items that you couldn't move otherwise. I sold a used and stained Minecraft backpack for $14 yesterday. that would have otherwise gone into the junk pile, the yard sale pile. And that's an extra, after fees and everything, it's probably about an extra $11 in my pocket. And it took me 60 seconds to list. It's not like eBay where you're going to spend 5 or 6 minutes sometimes. I know, a copious amount of time working on a listing. And then, they're going to ding you with your fees, transaction fees, listing fees, everything like that. And you walk away with almost nothing. On Mercari, it's kind of worth the trouble. Thank you, Pam, so much for putting up that link. Definitely reach out and join that group if you haven't done so just yet. Cool. Is Pam the person who does Tupperware? No, that is Mindy. Mindy is the Tupperware expert. Pam is, she knows quite a bit. She's a variety seller as well, and I think she specializes in Powerpuff Girls. But there's so many people within our group chat. I had somebody ask the other day. They said, hey, how many people do you have in there? I said, I think we have about 35 or 40 right now. And I guess they were worried that if the group chat got too big, I'm just going to interject with even my own show and explain what group chat is, because I've been asked this probably 40 or 50 times this year. Like, what is this thing you keep talking about? So if you have Facebook on your phone and you're using Facebook Messenger, okay, something that pretty much everyone has, when you sign up as a Patreon member, which is where you say, I'm going to give this show money every month because I love what the show's doing. I love who this person is. I like the content. I want to help pay him so he can keep doing this for us because, YouTube isn't really paying him anymore. I really want to make sure he's getting some bucks. Then we give you stuff in exchange. And one of the things we give you in exchange is access to a group chat, which means you know how like you're having a conversation with one person, you can have a conversation with 40 people at one time. It's a chat room essentially with 40 other sellers, and we all specialize in something. Everyone knows something. So we talk about reselling, obviously. We talk about bolos. We talk about family life. We also have Brandy, one of our other admins. She's pretty much the farmhand. She put up I think she has an alpaca, something to that effect. It was really awesome getting to see that. But yeah, group chat is an absolutely unbelievably valuable asset. Beth just commented right there. Beth was putting up pictures yesterday of tables full of, I believe it was Fenton glassware, and our Fenton expert, one of them, Mindy, was coming in there and just circling, saying this one, this one, this one, and then sent over a bunch of comps. And one of our Patreon members was able to execute on buys, wherein otherwise there's no good way to look up information without having an expert on hand. Because if you see a random piece of glass and you don't know what it is, what are you going to do? You want to post it to a group and wait 2-3 hours? Sometimes you need that immediate assistance, and that's what it's there for. So it's so much more than just a chat room, though, because as new members come in and they become educated by, I don't want to say like the elders, but as they become educated and become experts in certain categories, they stay, and then they help the next generation of people who come in. And together, we all become exceptionally smart as a unit. And there really isn't a single category that one of us doesn't have expertise in. And that's what makes the whole community-based system so valuable, is the fact that we have that backing it. You also get access to a private Facebook group as well. And we're going to talk about Facebook group settings here in a little bit as well. But much... Let me look at some of these. Mercari selling velocity better than Prairie Grit. I actually blacklisted that word. I think there may even be a typo in there. But yeah, we're focusing in solely on platforms that can show real velocity when it comes to e-commerce. So we talk about Etsy, Posh, Mercari, Amazon, and eBay because those are really the 5 big powerhouse brands right now. Now you can lump in stuff like Ruby Lane, and you can say, that has volume, or Abe Books. And there's a handful of other very, target category specific e-commerce platforms that do well. But when we talk about multi-brand or multi-category platforms, we're going to give all of our attention to brands that are really, really taking off right now, that have viability for you as sellers. This is part of why. No, you're fine, money. Yeah, you're A-okay. It was something I did privately on the background. But what we're doing is, for those who don't know, we stepped away from all of our sponsors, and we made the personal decision to say, we don't want to take any more money from sponsors in exchange to, I guess, lessen the burden on patrons, because we do have to make money. That's the thing. We have to make money. And we stepped away from the sponsors so that way there could be no influence on the material that we made. And we didn't want to not run a specific story because it might disparage a sponsor, or feel like we had to, go to pirate ship first and say, hey, there's changes happening with USPS. there's another competitor coming to the market. We want to talk about this story. Are we going to violate our contract? And I really didn't want to be in that position any longer. And I said, if I want to be an educator and I want to run an honest show, I can't have sponsors. And that includes affiliate links. So, I know other creators do it. And yes, I'm going to knock them for it, but we're getting away from all affiliate links as well. So even when we talk with new companies, we had Street Pricer and a couple other brands we spoke with recently want to do something with us. And we explained to them, we would love to work with you if you're a brand that's beneficial for the people who watch our content. So go watch our content. If you like our content and you feel your audience is there, come back to us and let's have a discussion together. And I want to be clear. We want to give you the opportunity to come onto our show for free, and we don't want any money from you, and we don't want any affiliate link. We just want to know that you are a good fit for the people who are watching us. And if you're a good fit, then great, because we can help people. So when we had Riverbend Consulting on, and they were talking about Amazon and gating and different issues regarding sellers, we didn't ask for any compensation. We didn't want any money. We didn't ask for any referral credits. When we send people over, we do it in good faith. And it's because we know there isn't money on the line. And we're really going in the direction of PBS in the sense that viewers like you are going to make this programming available to everyone else. And we really only need about 2 to 3% of you to step up and carry the weight for everyone else. And I know I'm getting a little bit rambly here. There's a lot of stuff I really want to talk about. Let me see some of these comments here. Hey, howdy everyone. Really looking forward to the Ivory Tower reply part of the show. Wishing everyone a profitable Sunday evening. Gray D, you're not Mr. Sweetman in disguise, are you? I just want to make sure, because I'm going to have some choice words this evening. But no, I'll tell you what. I had some more stories I wanted to get to, but we're going to remind me to come back to them at the end. We'll talk about them. Let's talk about some news right now while I'm thinking about it. Let's get that slideshow going. We'll start off by saying thank you to our patrons. We're going to have a new slide for this come January. Don't forget that we're taking December off of the show. We may do a holiday special just for the patrons. Still working on the logistics of it. It's very, very difficult because I will have a full month to try and get all of the other video stuff together. I'm working on 4 major, large videos right now that are taking a lot of time and effort. But a big thank you to all of our patrons, and a special thank you to Zeta, Pam, Matthew, Ashley, Anna and Joe, Lee James, Brandy, and Rob. I appreciate you guys. Every one of you I appreciate, but an extra special thank you to those guys. So first up, I am so sorry. My thing is moving everywhere. My hot buttons are, they're linked to, it's complicated. So first up, guys, Amazon IPI changes. We talked about some of this stuff previously. Those who don't know, it's your inventory performance index. Amazon pushed out a letter to everyone, and this was probably about a month ago. I didn't touch base on this because I missed it. Okay, there was a lot of news happening last month. We had the shareholder call. We had, what's his name? Devin Wenig, old news already, stepped down from eBay. And there was just a lot of other things going on. I thought now would be a good time to get to it before we come into 2020, and a good thing to talk about before we talk about Q4 prep. And then the last story of the day is going to be that one that you requested regarding the Ivory Tower. And I promise you, I'll save energy for that, but probably about 20 minutes out from now. So Amazon pushed out this letter. It says, since we announced expansion of one-day deliveries, we have made Prime free one day available to members with no minimum purchase amount on more than 10 million products coast to coast. The customer response has been remarkable, and FBA sellers have benefited. And this is true. FBA velocity has increased for people who have those types of items, and they're selling them just because the consumers like to be able to get that quick access to their goods. To make Prime free one-day delivery possible, we invested hundreds of millions of dollars in our fulfillment and transportation network on behalf of sellers in Q2 2019 alone. And I'm really curious still, just how far back is Amazon going to roll back their first-party delivery system that they've gotten set up? Because we've seen where they've closed down specific branches that have been underperforming or have had issues, including, striking pedestrians, which is a really weird thing to have happen. I mean, if you have an employee who's driving an Amazon van who happens to run somebody over, and then 200 to 300 people lose their jobs because it looks bad for the brand, it's a little bit frustrating. We continue to upgrade our network to further speed up deliveries and invest in infrastructure, tools, services, people, and program to benefit FBA sellers. While investing in our network, we need to manage our storage space so that we can continue delighting customers with product that they love at faster delivery speeds. Effective January 1, 2020, we are changing the IPI threshold for storage limits to 400, which was previously 350. Storage limits will continue to be evaluated on a quarterly cycle. So for example, if you have an IPI score that is less than 400 during the week of November 11, 2019, you'll be notified. So this coming week, you'll be notified of your potential storage limits for Q1 2020. You will have 6 weeks to improve your IPI score. If your IPI score is still below 400 during the week of December 23rd, 2019, storage limits will apply for your Q1 2020. So basically, if your IPI is screwed right now, which we're going to talk about how to fix that, okay, they're saying to you, you're going to start incurring penalties coming into next month, okay, basically saying that your storage limits are going to be capped out. Now, your storage is going to range wildly, but this pretty much affects those on the business plan where you're paying I believe it's $40 or $60 per month. If you're paying your per item amount, you've already got a fixed limit on your inventory. It's around 100 items, depending on how many large or smalls that you have. But if you're one of those volume type sellers, you already know about your IPI. This kind of falls in a very, very special group of people who are paying their $40 a month, who are maybe only doing $2,000 to $3,000 worth of inventory, and they're doing one piece at a time type work, piecework as we call it here. And if you're not doing that and you have large quantities of stuff that you're constantly replenishing, you probably aren't too concerned about your IPI or your inventory performance index score. Now you can find your score through the main site. You have to look over your reports, I believe is what it is. But we're going to talk just real quick on a few things that you can do to remove your IPI. And these things are kind of practical when it comes to inventory wherever you have your stuff at. First one is removing dead stock. So if you have items there that have been marinating for years and you've had the buy box for years and still no one is buying it, you really want to evaluate firstly your cost. How much are you spending to have those items sitting at Amazon? And are you at a point now where you're already upside down on it? So take the time to go through step by step, see what you have, and start removing dead stock. The other thing you can do too is you can actually lower the number of units that you have on some of your items. I did a replenishing the other day, but when I was doing that, I went through and I looked at some of my other SKUs and I found that, I have some SKUs that I have 40 units there at the warehouse, but I'm only selling 1 or 2 a quarter. Okay. Which means I have years worth of supplies. I have anywhere between 5 to 10 years supply at the warehouse. There's no reason to have that much inventory there. And I don't even feel that doing a price drop will increase the velocity of those types of items. So the smart play, which is, I know, frustrating, okay, which is you've paid to get the item out there already, and now you're going to pay to get it back. But it's better than paying to let it sit there. Okay, and if the value of the item is low enough, maybe through your auto pricer, or maybe because the market is bottomed out on that specific SKU or even a specific category, maybe even consider destroying the item. Okay, if it's going to be a more cost-effective solution, or if you don't have another channel to diversify that item into. Now, another thing that I've been doing recently is I have been cross-posting my excess units to other platforms. Now, if you have pictures of your items and you want to use, your multi-channel fulfillment, and you want to move items directly from your Amazon warehouse straight to consumer by listing stuff onto Mercari, that's one way to do it. And I'm doing that in-house through eBay right now. So I have certain items where I have 50 to 200 or 300 of a specific item, and I'm waiting for them to sell out on eBay. Even if you have an item that you're selling, I don't know, let's say 3 of a month, 4 of a month, and you have 100 of them on eBay, and you're like, well, whatever, it's just going to take a couple years and then they're all going to sell out. Why not put a presence on Mercari? Why not put a presence on Amazon? Why not put a presence on Etsy or Posh if it's applicable, or even your local marketplace or Craigslist? Rather than wait 2 years for a good chunk of shelf space that you might be locking up on an item that is selling already, why not diversify and get that item out the door in 6 months or 3 months and free up that space? I think that's one of the most undervalued assets that we have as resellers. A lot of people don't talk about this, but your actual warehouse space, and we even have an acronym here, we call it DPI, or dollars per inch. The more densely I can pack an item into a shelf based on its original dimensions or its stackability, I factor that in when I'm doing my buys because I only have so much warehouse space. Freeing up space is essentially freeing up money, because if you have open space for more inventory, you can start doing more buys, and you can start bringing in a variety of SKUs and having different ways of generating revenue. So one of the other things that you can do is clean up your SKUs. Okay, that's one of the things that impacts my IPI the most, is the fact that I do a lot of one-offs. And if you're doing these things where, you see me showing off my items that are brand new in retail packaging, and I have one unit of this, and I'm going to send it to Amazon because I'm going to get a lot more on Amazon after fees and shipping, but I have one of these. So after it sells, Amazon's going to sit there and say, hey, buddy, why don't you go in and restock me already? I want more units. Why aren't you giving me more units? And you tell them, I just don't have any. But if you don't go through and delete those old listings, they're actually going to hurt you. They're going to hurt your IPI. And when your IPI gets too low, not only are they going to be able to restrict the amount of inventory you can send in, okay, but you could also see negative actions on your account. They can close your account because of a low IPI. So it's important to maintain these things. And I know it sounds wild. Some of you are hearing this for the first time. You have no clue what the IPI is or what it's important for, but mine falls below all the time because I get too busy to get it fixed out. Question on MCF. Is it against eBay's drop shipping policy? I believe it is not, but I get a lot of pushback by others telling me that it is. I don't know the acronym MCF, so until I know what that is, I want to, I'm going to defer it to the audience to break down that acronym before I answer that question. Hello to you, FPS Moto. Thank you for dropping in as well. Is that a Treyarch logo or a FaZe Clan logo? Hold on. I'm gonna go peep your channel while I get some clarity on what that means. We got a Joe Rogan fan. Multi-channel fulfillment by Amazon. Okay, as far as eBay's policy is concerned, it's a little, and I hate to say it, it's a little bit gray, because eBay doesn't want to take a very, very firm stance on drop shipping because they realize just how big of a percentage of their revenue drop shipping is. I've been told that over 50% of eBay's listings, and I've even heard some people say over 80% of eBay's listings are drop shipping listings. And if they were to get rid of them outright, we would have some serious problems. Now, we did see a lot of accounts get banned. I don't know if you guys remember that, that absolute con job of a dropship Tyler that we had on a while back. And the reason I say this is because he was selling affiliate programs, which we weren't interested in having his affiliate program. We just wanted to talk with a dropshipper. He wasn't as successful as he said he was, which that's a common theme amongst dropshippers. I do $1 million a year in volume, but they're really not. But he actually walked away from his entire team, his entire network 6 months later, and now he does poker videos. So when it comes to drop shipping, I've heard wild numbers all over the place as far as velocity, but as far as terms of service are concerned, eBay really wants you to have the item in hand. Okay, they want to be able to, on some level, be able to show that you have possession of this item. Now, if you have a brand new account, they're going to look at you much more critically. Or if you're using stock photos, they're going to look at you much more critically. We were talking in group chat the other day about clever ways to be able to do RA and OA, or retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, or even cross-platform drop shipping to be able to generate revenue. And I've got some killer ideas that I kind of want to implement, where I feel I can make an extra couple $1,000s a week right now doing that, which would be fantastic, or even get a team of people to help me out doing this. But when it comes to this, eBay stance, have the item in hand at some point in time. Now, if you're the original owner of it and you're dropping it from your own Amazon to your own eBay, I can't see a problem with it personally. But as always, double check the terms of service. And the big rub, the big problem with eBay's stance on eBay's terms of service as a whole is that they can silently change those pages at any time without giving you notice. Okay, because you have your terms of service and then you have your selling guidelines. And the guidelines can change on a snap and they don't have to tell you. Okay, so when we saw it happen last week with the tobacco policy, and it went from you were able to list vape products and accessories, but you couldn't list anything that contained tobacco, and you couldn't contain anything that had THC or CBD. And then they changed the policy overnight, didn't tell anyone, and now you can't list any vaping accessories whatsoever. Definitely go back and watch last week's show if you haven't seen it. Yep, you can, and CatCon's kind of echoing my sentiment on that. Charlie Hustle says, poker is such a hard game these days. Too many grinders and no fish. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Hold'em is that bad. Sometimes you have to make opportunities. We're not always going to land, a nice, pocket pair and, land a set on the flop. But sometimes you have to make opportunities. I'm not saying play every 2-7 offsuit that lands in front of you, but what I'm saying is, read your table, make opportunities, make something work for you. Play your game. Don't play somebody else's game. If you have an item in Amazon warehouse, it's supposed to be okay to drop ship because you already own it, but you can't purchase on Amazon and fulfill that order. I'm going to echo that sentiment, but again, when it comes to your business, and because of the variance between platforms, I would certainly recommend checking, and if you have the means to, even have eBay send you out something saying that they understand that this is who you are and what you do and that your account is going to be okay from this. Next thing, guys, fix your stranded listing. A stranded listing is something that's missing a specific, or possibly it's been recalled back because of hazardous or something like that. And yes, CatCon, I agree with you. I'm just saying the rules can change randomly, so always check beforehand. If you have stranded listings, get those corrected too. Those things really, really damage your IPI as well. Just letting them sit there and not resolving them out. Also bad feedback. Guys, clean up your feedback. I'm really, really bad about it. I use Amazon as a back burner platform. I don't take Amazon seriously. I really don't. The interface isn't conducive to the type of business I'm doing. I'm seeing the same type of first party squeeze, pushing out third party sellers over there as I'm seeing on eBay. I understand how powerful of a tool it is for most people, but I don't enjoy the process of selling on Amazon, and we'll talk more about it in 2020. But I just wanted to give everyone a little bit more information as far as what you could do for Amazon specifically. Now, when we get to Q4 prep, this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. This is something that I'm passionate about because it lends itself to the type of person that I am. I love having a clean house. I walk you around my house anytime you want. I got a sparkling clean toilet. I've got a made bed in the other room. My carpets are vacuumed once a week. I love having a clean house. And having a clean store brings me the same level of satisfaction as a clean house does. A clean house is a comfy house, and a clean store is a comfy store. I want my customers who visit my store to feel comfortable, whether it's the quality of the photos that I take and not being too hyper-realistic. We had somebody post up a pure white background in front of a Nerf gun. And I get it. That photo is borderline PNG quality, basically backgroundless quality. It was very impressive. Okay. But the problem for me was that it looked too good. And I know that sounds kind of backwards in a sense. I want my photos to look like some guy took a really nice photo. I don't want my photo to look like, Nerf headquarters staged this gun beautifully, shot it, adjusted the saturation, cropped it, and then uploaded the photo online. I want that natural one person to another feeling. Sometimes when you remove a background too much from a photo, you lose the concept of scale as well. I like my photos looking good. So I know I was going on a tangent there. We're going to talk real quick about things that you need to start thinking about in Q4 because we have Black Friday and we have Cyber Monday coming up. In January, we are going to be talking about the importance of holidays throughout the year, the main ones and the sub ones, and how if you use the information that we have available to us about these holidays and we know about them in advance, we can really take action to be able to churn up our revenue. Let me see if I can add it really quick. I've got this really nice image on my desktop. Let's see if I can bring it in really quick. I wasn't planning on doing it either. There we go. It might be huge. Yeah, there's the image right there. And this image shows all the different seasonality and holidays of items throughout the year. And Christmas is truly no different. When we think about, or this season is no different. We have Halloween, Thanksgiving, the holidays. This is the time of year people are having babies. We have seasonal dresses going on right now. Winter clearance in January. Okay, so we have these holidays running year round, but we have the highest concentration of money-making holidays in Q4. And this is why some people make their entire year's worth of earning in this last quarter. And I know we're almost halfway through right now. Let me get this deleted. I know we're almost halfway through right now, but there's still more that you can do. I had a wonderful talk with a patron We do these video calls or these phone calls once a month with a handful of our patrons. If you'd like to talk one-on-one with me, you're welcome to DM me. But if you'd like to get on the phone call, we ask that you go through Patreon first. Unless you just need some basic consulting, and I'll give it to you for free. Any one of you guys can call me right now if you want. The first thing that we talked about was getting 100% listed. And this is very, very important. People cannot buy what they cannot see. And I stress this so often. I know some of you out there have these piles and they horrify me. I've seen some of these piles of 500 or 1,000 items. Okay. This is the time of year you stop everything you're doing and you get your items listed, because it's not a matter of just making money in Q4. And I think that's the very short-sighted nature and kind of where people stop that discussion within other groups and within other channels and stuff to that effect. They say, no, this is when you need to make all of your money, and that's the end of the talk. Well, what does that money do for us? Okay. If I have $10,000 in my wallet, okay, what does that actually mean though? Cash is almost worthless. And I tell people this all the time. Cash has no real power on its own. It's a matter of what you choose to do with it. But the not having it is the really bad part, especially when you're coming into 2020, because November and December are your big months for selling, because January is your huge month for buying. Why is January such a big month for buying? There's two factors behind it. Okay. The first one is people are stupid. And I'm just going to say that. Now, if you're here watching me, you're not stupid. You're one of the, I can't stress this. I have so much respect for everyone who sits down and genuinely watches this show. Not because I like hearing my own voice, but I believe I have valuable information to give, and I think highly of the people who value the information that I have to give. Most people are very stupid in the sense that they overspend during the holidays. I watch this year in and year out. People will overextend their finances just for Christmas gifts, just to be able to have a big party, just to be able to go on vacation during the holidays. They always overextend. So what happens in January? These people desperately need to make money sometimes. And I'm not saying we're going to prey on the ignorance of others, but I have a responsibility to buy. And when I look out there and I see a sea of people selling, that's unlike any other time during the entire year, I'm going to capitalize on that period of time. I'm going to spend more money on advertising in January than I'm going to spend in any other month. Okay? Because remember, we don't make money when we sell the item. Okay? We make money the moment we buy the item. We know that that money is going to come to us. You're not going to go out and buy something unless you're going to profit from it, right? You know, the moment you pull the trigger on buying an item, oh yeah, I'm going to make $80 on this. You've already made the $80. It's just a matter of, am I going to get the money right now? Or am I going to get the money a little bit later? Or am I going to get the money a lot of bit later? But the money is already yours. Okay. So when people overextend come January, I am running tons of ads. And if you want an insight on what type of ads I'm running, we did do a private video on that. Very rare. We only did 2 or 3 private videos all year last year for the patrons, but they are very impactful videos. I talk about the types of ads I'm creating and where I'm running these ads, and it gets people calling me. When I'm actively running ads, I'll get 10 to 20 calls per day from people that are looking to sell items within the categories that I work specifically. Some people work electronics, some people work clothing, some people work books. There's all kinds of different categories. But when people desperately need money, people who would normally not pick up the phone and call will see an ad online. They'll see an ad on TV. They'll see an ad in the newspaper. They'll see an ad on a billboard and say, you know what? Man, I really went overboard this holiday season. I maxed out the credit card. I owe $2,500 on the credit card. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call this guy. I'm going to see what's going on. Okay. And they call in when they otherwise wouldn't. And you get this very unique type of customer. They're inexperienced with negotiations. They're very desperate to make money. And they're trusting in you to be their savior of their problem. Okay? Understanding the motivation for why somebody is selling is just as important as understanding the inventory in the item that they're selling. What is your motivation? How can we help you? How can we make your money? And I know I'm going on a wild tangent here. You guys, I love talking about Q4. You will not find anyone else who likes this season, beginning of November. And here's how my Q4 works. It doesn't start in October. It starts at November 1st to January 30th. That is my Q4 slice. I do the most selling and I do the most buying. If I do January correctly, I will have inventory that will last me all year long. Okay. Trading cards, video games, collectible toys, you name it. I will have 12 months worth of supply that I can slowly sit there and sell out, piece out one at a time. And then when January comes around again, now I'm in a great position. So here's the other half of it. We said there's two prongs to this, and none of this is in my notes either. I'm not even at my notes. The other end of it, one, we have the hyper-motivated seller who's anxious and eager to be able to make money. And two, okay, because I was very, very smart about what I was doing, and I sold so much more inventory because I had everything listed. Guess what? I'm coming into 2020 with a pile of cash, okay? Having a lot of money is very, very powerful. If you can go into January of this year, this coming year, with 2 to 4 times as much money as you started with last year, how much more buying power do you think you'll have? How many more buys can you execute that you weren't able to execute on last year because you would have had to bet the entire barn? You would have had to personally overextend to be able to make a buy. But this year, because you said, you know what? I'm going to bust my butt this year. I'm going to work hard through Q4. I'm going to get 100% listed, and we're going to talk about the other things too. I'm going to get 100% listed, and because of that, now I can scale my business. I have $10,000 coming into January because I did my hard work. Jay said to go list all my stuff. I listed all my stuff. Now I can buy that $2,000 buy. Now I can buy out the remains of this shop for $1,000. Now I can spend $1,000 on marketing and advertising, which I never thought was possible before. You know what? Maybe I'm going to drop $500 and I'm going to hire Jay or another reputable artist or creator. Maybe I'm going to finally pull the trigger on that business page, the business logo, business license. Okay. Maybe even a video ad. I'm going to pull the trigger on things that I otherwise wouldn't have, and I'm going to become more reputable. As I become an established brand, an established name, what's going to happen? More people are going to want to do business with me. I closed my video game store over a year ago now. Every week I still get phone calls. Hey, I heard you're the guy to talk to about video games. Yes, I am. How can I help you? Okay. When you establish this level of authenticity within your brand and what you're doing, making money becomes easier and easier. I tell people it's about paving the road to success early. I didn't get here by chance. I put in many 60 to 70 hour work weeks, paving the road so that way now my reselling business only takes 20 hours a week for me to be able to make an okay living. I don't make a lot. I'm very, very frugal. Okay. I want to do this full time instead though. And I'm hoping that we'll get there because I feel like I know most of the things that I need to know, and I know everything that I need to teach you guys so that way you can make it and you can put in your 60-hour work weeks and you can learn from my failures and my successes, and now you can just go make money. I've done the work already. Just I was watching, we talked about this on my personal profile. Anyone seen this Kanye West video that just came out? Okay, I understand it's a polarizing issue because he's going to run for office in 2024. He says he's going to. And those of you who don't know, he is a self-proclaimed born-again Christian. I think he changed his name to Christian Billionaire. I am not lying right now. This is factually accurate information. However, I digress. His latest music video that came out, the intro to the music video was amazing. Okay, and it was his father and him walking out to like some type of quad in the middle of a field in Wyoming covered in snow. And he said to the effect of, I'm not asking you to carve your own path in life. And I've told people this before. I'm not saying go reinvent the wheel. Okay. The same concept. I'm not asking you to carve your own path in life. Walking on the snow is treacherous and perilous. So what I am doing is I am walking ahead of you, and I'm asking you to take the steps that I've already taken. Okay. And when he said that, it really resonated with me. It really meant something to me because I feel like that's what I'm doing here. Okay. I love seeing innovation. I love seeing people do new things, but sometimes some people come to me and they say, you know, I really want to go and do this instead of doing that. I said, well, have you gotten good at this yet? Because I can 100% guarantee this makes money. And I'm all for innovation. I'm all for trying new things, but until you can guarantee yourself that you know how to make money as a reseller, don't go do new things. Okay. Sure. That other method may end up being better. Fine. You might find a label printer that instead of using a Dymo 450, you might find a cheaper way to make labels. But if you always have the means to be able to generate revenue for yourself, then you never have to worry about innovation. I can always make $4,000 a month doing reselling. No doubt in my mind. You put me in any town in America that's within a half hour or an hour of a town of 100,000 people or more, I will make $4,000 a month. Mark my word, anywhere in America, continental, North America, that is. Put me anywhere and I'll make it happen. Okay? Maybe not Maryland. I'm just going to say that right now. Almost everywhere. That being said, though, we got to get the fundamentals in place, and that's why we're here. So one of them is making sure that you're 100% listed, taking that money, being able to do something with it into next month. Make sure you get your shipping supply situation sorted out. We're not just talking USPS, the free one. We're also talking about anything that you might get through eBay with your eBay coupon, any other stuff that you might need like tape, poly bags, etc. I love how some of you left just to go watch that Kanye video right now. It's ridiculous, that video, by the way. It's totally worth watching. It's actually a decent song, too. Consider your shipping and handling situation, okay? I am now offering Saturday shipping, because I want to ensure a positive customer experience going through the holidays. And I know it's a burden to ship out packages on Saturday. And for some of you, it's downright impossible to get to the post office before they close. And Lee James says phenomenal song, and I'm going to nod my head with you on that one. I've listened to it at least a dozen times now. Who's Kanye? Thank you, Pam. Okay. I am willing to ship on Saturday. I know it's inconveniencing for some of you, but think about it this way, guys. What's there, 7 Saturdays? 8 Saturdays until the end of the month? 7 until Christmas? Can you give me 7 Saturdays to improve the customer experience for all of your shoppers across all platforms? I can do it, because without those customers, my well-being isn't going to be as good as it would be. I'm going to give them 7 Saturdays. I got no problem doing that. I moved my store to same-day handling. Now, I can't sit here and state, yes, because I did this, this is the thing that happened. Are my sales up this week? Yes. Yes, they are. I've had packages going out every single week, okay? Or every single day. But that I cannot give a direct one-to-one attribute from one to the other with that. But I'm doing same-day handling. If you buy your order by noon, you're going to get your items shipped out that same day. Now, I know what you're thinking, some of you. You're like, oh, that seems a little bit hard to do. But the reality is it isn't. I drive my packages out late in the afternoon anyways. What's it matter? I'll take the order then. Gray D says, Saturday scans seem to trigger the eBay algorithm a bit, which is nice. Unfortunately, there's no real merit to that, but if you can find any factual evidence, we are all for things that can help. Not that hard to cross-list. Yes, cross-listing is important. Adjusting your returns. Now, this one comes as a difficult thing to talk about, because I don't really practice what I preach on this one all too often, but I think I'm willing to. I always have returns off. And I know some of you are right there with me and you say, I'm not going to turn returns on because there's scammers and there's people trying to game the system and there's bad actors out there. And sure, 100% there is. But we need to assess each store on a one-to-one basis. Do you have the type of inventory that is a high-risk inventory for returns? Okay. If the answer is no, you need to go ahead and turn on 30-day returns. Okay. And what type of items are we talking about that are low risk items? We're talking like sewing supplies and fabrics and stuff to that effect. I'm sorry, I'm watching group chat and the admin chat over here. Most common books, most used clothing, like t-shirts, like common stuff. Most brand new sealed items under about $20. These are things that are generally going to resist most return and resist most fraud. Is it going to happen? Sure. Now, if you have a high risk item like high-end video games, high-end trading cards, high-end collectibles as a whole, okay? Sometimes even jewelry, anything that can be easily counterfeited, anything that has a bait and switch, any type of community that is known for having scammers within it. Okay. A lot of collectors communities have this type of thing going on. Okay. If you have one of those types of communities where those things can happen, then you might not want to do your 30-day returns. Okay. But if you can do it and you have the type of inventory that's capable of doing it, factor the returns into your cost. Me personally, I can take on, and think about this for a moment, I can take on 5% returns if I can see a 20% or 30% bump in sales? Okay. Now, if you can see the increased velocity by turning returns on, why not be willing to take a little bit more of a return or willing to put things further out? If I'm shopping for the holidays and I want to buy a gift for somebody and I'm unsure, and let's be honest, a lot of us have very cool, very unique gifts out there. If I want to buy something for somebody and I am unsure if they're going to like it, I would like to know that I can return it back if it's very unique without spoiling the surprise for my partner. So if you don't want to do it on your entire store, why don't you take some of your items that you really wouldn't care if somebody lied to you about? Okay. Do you have 1,000 units of something or 500 units of something that's only worth about $12 and you wouldn't even pay to take it back? Why not offer 30-day returns on it? Okay. Would it cost you $0.25 for the unit and $3 to ship it? You might lose $3.50. But what about if you sold one and then you swallowed the cost on the other? Would you still be profitable? Yeah. So why not? Why not offer 30-day returns on something like that? So that's another thing that you can do. Beyond that, and I do definitely want to have, Susan, you're not live if you just got that Maryland comment. It's because it's one of the most dangerous states in America. And there isn't a lot of good secondary items on the shelves. And that's a whole nother discussion. It is more of a state of the resale community. It's one of the only states in America that has a declining population right now as well. So yes, factor in your return cost. And then one of the other things that's really, really important to do, okay, is auditing your inventory. And we've talked about this before. It's not just a single direction audit, it's a 2-direction audit. Okay. What does that mean? That means that every item that's on your inventory shelf that you believe is on eBay right now is actually on eBay. Okay. Now, why might an item not be on eBay when you believe it's on eBay? Well, eBay can remove your listings without warning. And they have the right to do that if they feel that it can prove the quality of the site. Okay. And they'll pull crummy listings for whatever reason. 2, a lot of us had 30-day listings and some of us didn't convert them over to good till canceled. And some of those listings had fallen off and maybe went to unsold and we never got back around to them again. Or we had our auction listings that fell off. Nobody bought them at auction and we forgot to do something with them. So they're sitting on our inventory shelf still. Or through the powers that would be, whether it's eBay or whether it's the app or whether it's glitches in the system, sometimes you list an item and guess what? It didn't actually list. So doing an audit and making sure that everything you think is on the shelf is actually listed on eBay is important. I remember the first time I did one after doing business for 6 years, I found $4.5 grand worth of inventory that was unaccounted for. Now, the other end of it is making sure that when you look at your computer, everything that says it is online, you can actually locate on the shelf. Because if it says it's online and you don't know where it is, guess what? It does not exist. Especially coming into the holidays, you don't want to run into those types of situations. Now, those of you with 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 listings, I would say if you have over 500 listings, ask for help. Get a friend to come in there and help you. And there is a optimum way to do this. Okay. Printing out an inventory list, it's not hard to do. You can print out your entire inventory and you walk around with that list while you have somebody at a laptop calling out the items and making adjustments on the fly with you. Okay. Oh, we're looking for Boyd's Bear, Engineer Cap. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me check for that. Okay. I got it right here. And then they tell you what the item's listed for. They tell you how long the item's been online. They'll say 305 days, $19.99, 0 watchers. Okay. Let's go and bring that down to $14.99. And they can change it right there on the fly. Maybe you don't want to check all the market parameters, but you want to make some meaningful changes to try and stimulate sales. Oh, this one has 12 watchers on it. It's at $31.99. Add best offer to it. Okay. Or let's try promotions at 3%. Let's try adding a 30-day return policy to that one. And you can make those adjustments right there. They call an item, you can't find the item. Okay. Circle it on your paper. Okay. It means that we're going to try and find it again later because as you start moving things around, oh, hey, I just found that item, earlier here. Let me scratch it off. You strike it out, you make any adjustments that need to be made then. So if you have 500 or more items, I'd recommend getting a helper. Pay them $15 an hour to sit there and help you, okay? Or tell them if you don't have money, you say, hey, would you mind giving me a hand with my eBay inventory? I don't know if there's anything I have, but if you want to pick out some gifts for your family for the holidays, I'd be happy to give you some of the items that I have if you're willing to give me a couple hours, and I can even buy you lunch. Okay, this is a great opportunity to start working with other people within your brand if you haven't ever done that before. It's a great, great time to have. On top of that, if you really want to be savage, you can tell that person, hey, if you see any of this stuff while you're out, if you run across at a yard sale, call me. I buy all of this stuff. If you find one of these, send me a picture of it. I'll make you an offer right then. And then if you bring it to me, I'll pay you that money. You can say, I'll pay you, $20 on the phone. I don't care what you pay for it. Like, what? Oh, I don't care. If you get it for $1, whatever I told you I'm going to pay you for it, I'll give you that amount. It'd be a great opportunity for you to make some extra money. Why not, guys? Why not? Let me look at some of these comments. Love Texas, low cost of living, warm, great food, friendly people, year-round garage sales. And I'll tell you the problem with what you just did, Gray, is that too many people in Texas are saying that they love it there, and too many people from California are coming from here straight over to there. The Californians are destroying your state. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay. Let me take a look at some of these other comments. Good tip. I have no clue which one you're talking about, but I'm happy that one of them hit the mark. Illinois is becoming a dark hole. Don't come here. Highly relevant commenter. Good to see you back here again. My 30-day return rate is pretty stable, 2 to 3% on mostly hard goods, aggravating but tolerable. 2 to 3% is industry average for hard goods. Now, clothing, shoes can see anywhere between a 20 to 30% return rate, which is somewhat disgusting, but my example was 5%. I think I would be okay with 5% if it meant an increase in my other velocity. I'm in Florida, the best estate sales in the country. I 100% believe that. None of that inventory's made its way over here. And those of you who are new to my show, this whole experience, I really want to do a cross-country show experience. I want to go from one city to another every month and source in that town and broadcast my show from there. I'd love to do it. But Patreon is the only way we're going to make that happen, because I don't know. I'm not going to go on that tangent again, but those of you who are new here, that's truly the end goal, is to be able to travel all around America and do this. And then I can say, oh yeah, this is what picking in Florida is like. Or I can meet up with the people in Florida and say, hey, you want to come on down to the studio I have set up, and we can sit down here and we can talk about eBay. We can talk about Amazon, yada, yada, yada. Just have a good time. Because don't get me wrong, I love talking with you guys, but I would absolutely love to talk face to face with an intelligent person on some of these topics. And I understand that there's other channels who do, collaborative efforts, and we've done some in the past, but I'm really struggling to find people in real life who share this level of passion and this level of commitment to this industry, who are doing it ethically, who aren't putting the money first and then putting everything else second. And I don't know. If you're one of those people and you want to help me get on the road, let me know. Simply Dan says, good tip, checking the inventory against your listings, vice versa. Yeah, it's a long process. And here's the thing. Anyone who does do this process, please let me know. I want to know what your results were. What percentage of your inventory turned out to not be active? And another thing you want to do too is when you're going through it, you want to check your quantities. This is also the perfect time to go through and fix your titles, because we talked about titles before. After we did the Google update 3 months ago after eBay opened, we talked about the importance of not keyword stuffing and having highly relevant titles and super clean images and stuff to that effect. A lot of people didn't do it. I haven't done it completely yet. I went through and fixed about 20% of my listings, didn't have time. This is the perfect time to verify the quantity of items you have, input brand, input UPCs, correct titles, correct photos on the fly if need be. Have your whole photo station set up. Take a photo real quick. Send it to the device. If you have Bluetooth enabled devices, you can say, okay, hold on, let me get a photo really quick, set the item down, snap, brand new key photo. Don't worry about the rest of the photos. Send it across via Bluetooth. Let the other device receive it, replace the photo real quick, and then move on to the next one. 500 items, 500 to 1,000 minutes. I know it's a long time. It could be a whole work week for some of you, but would you put in one extra week if it meant thousands of dollars in extra sales or finding thousands of dollars worth of lost inventory? Okay. We're here so we can all make money. This is important. Okay. I know some of you just are here to hear my voice, but it's about, somebody even said the other day, two people said it, really meant a lot to me. They said, you're more than just surface level. And then somebody said you actually provide actionable advice. And actionable is good, but you taking actual action on these things is even better. I want your feedback back. Guys, we're doing something special too after the show. We've never done this before. Usually when the show ends and the comments are over, we just kind of all go our separate ways and we move on. For the first time ever this week within our Facebook group, if you're not a member, Pam, please provide a link. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, please go join it. Okay, we're going to have a discussion after the show. It's going to be all text-based. Somebody's going to put up a post for us. It's going to say, hey, any thoughts and feedbacks regarding the show? And you're going to have an opportunity to continue the discussion and maybe even ask more questions or learn from other people during the after hours. And I'll be there for probably about another hour, but our wonderful team of admins and friends and everyone will be there as well. So drop in after the show to learn a little bit more with us. What else do we have? Last thing, titles, images, descriptions, and here's one more thing for you guys. Consider adding express shipping options to your listings, okay? You can, if you don't want to go through and accommodate for weights because you don't have your business plan available, you can add a line to your description in bulk. A lot of people don't know this. It's a really, really powerful tool. You can put at the top of your description on every one of your items, you can put, during the months of November and December, we offer express shipping. Please send us a message to get an instant quote on the cost to ship this item faster. Okay. And this will get inbound messages for you. You can do this through the bulk item editor. You can edit 500 items at a time. So you want to edit and then choose the preference or the field, choose item description. There's a drop down, add to, and then put the line in. Now, what you can do is when the holidays are over in January, you can go back through and you can say, remove from bulk and remove that line of text from every one of your descriptions without disturbing your original description. Okay. Tell me that isn't fantastic. Now, here's the thing. Adding the priority option is a great thing to do if you actually weighed all your items beforehand and if you actually have the item weight correct. But adding it in bulk, for me, wouldn't work. I didn't weigh any of my items. I don't care what any of my prices say or what the weight says on anything because I have free shipping on all my listings. So adding a priority option would cost me probably 100 hours of labor to sort that out. But adding one line to the beginning of my description, I can turn that on in 2 minutes. Okay, so there's no harm in doing that. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to tell Daniel to make sure the error is at 74. It is getting toasty again. Okay, guys, so that's what I had for you as far as Q4 prep is concerned. What else do we got going on for this show? Let's see, guys, a letter from the ivory tower. Okay, I know some of you have been here since the top of the hour because you wanted to hear my thoughts and my opinions regarding Jordan Sweetnam and his letter that he sent out. Anton Fote, good to see you here again, my friend. Future Fortunes there. Doug, always an option on eBay. I'm glad you told me about this. Yes. There is some really powerful options on there. Simply Dana says, Jay, do you use global shipping program or international shipping? 100%. I strongly suggest that everyone use global shipping program. It will drastically increase your sales velocity with virtually no penalty to you or your account. It is one of the safest ways to ship your items because once it makes it cleared through the global shipping team, it is almost impossible for them to return it and almost impossible for them to do any type of negative action to you or your account. It is amazing what the amount of protections you have. I frankly wish every single order I had ran through global ship because of my level of satisfaction with it. I've had it for over 5 years now, only a handful of hiccups, but they were quickly resolved. Now, eBay does have a new shipping program that's rolling out soon. We're going to be talking about that towards the end of the show as well. So who is Jordan Sweetnam? And thank you for the question, Dana. If you have any questions, by all means, you can ask them. We also have a lovely super chat button if you'd like to contribute to the show. It's going to throw that number up over in the corner. And I believe we have new stickers enabled, too. If you want to try those out, you're all welcome to. Jordan Sweetnam returns. to eBay as the Senior Vice President of the American markets, which includes US, Canada, and Latin America. Now, he's been gone from eBay for 12 years. What did he do in those 12 years' time? Well, he worked with Walmart. Cool. And now Jay Lee, the Senior Vice President and General Manager with eBay, said I think it's with eBay. He might be with a Walmart. Said Jordan's incredible experience and energy will be a huge asset. It's probably with eBay. A huge asset in this critical leadership role, as we are thrilled to welcome him back to eBay to lead our America's business. He has long-standing relationships with many of eBay's seller community, is an avid customer, and will bring in invaluable perspective to the market's leadership team. I'm going to disagree with all of that based simply on the letter that he put in the other day. I don't know if you guys saw this letter that was posted up within the community board, the other news section on eBay. And here's another thing that I really find interesting is that eBay does not enable comments on any of these posts that they put up. Okay, they just will not let people comment on it. But you can get a feel for what the community thinks about the post based on the number of people that clicked the helpful button on it. Now, there was 256 people who clicked helpful on this one, and there was 1,000 that clicked helpful when they talked about eBay omitting taxes. Now, could there very easily be 256 people who can't dissect this nonsense or potentially just work for eBay that are helping this post along? 100%. This is a horrible post. So, we're going to walk through this together. We're going to talk about it the full way through and through. And it's frustrating to talk about, and I'm probably going to get a little animated, a little bit hot here. Because this is something that I've talked about at length many times before. The post starts this way. Together, we are focused on addressing topics top of mind for our sellers. In recent weeks, I've heard from many of you directly with questions about the headwinds we are facing as a company. When I came back to eBay, I was clear that you could always expect me to be as candid as possible. Transparency is critical for our partnership. You are the backbone of eBay, and one way to show our support for you is by answering the tough questions. So, guys, get ready for some answers here. So you can expect regular updates from me detailing our strategies, challenges, and key areas of focus to help you navigate your business on eBay. Today, I want to offer a deeper dive on 3 main areas and provide more information of what to expect in the coming quarters. It sounds great. It's a great way to start this discussion off. It says customers turn to e-commerce to find great value, and internet sales tax, which they refer to as IST for the remainder of this discussion, squeezes them in a new way, adding new taxes to online shopping. We are working with partners like PayPal to alleviate any surprising charges or fees to minimize impact on buyers. IST impacts our total value of items sold, the GMV or gross merchandise volume, but is not indicative of the health of the overall business. When the rollout over last year and with more states to come, we are anticipating that IST will continue to pressure GMV through the first half of 2020. This is why we factored IST into our recent earning guidance. And they did. They did mention the IST. Mindy Coy says, wait, what? Working with PayPal? Yes. Mindy, with the new managed payments, they are still going to allow people to pay via PayPal, except we're not going to be able to receive our funds via PayPal. We got the rub on this whole thing. I don't know how. I don't know how sellers got screwed so badly, but we did. So my thing about it, okay, there's no reason why we can't bundle these numbers together. Why can't we display for a active user with an account online or even a guest account through the use of cookies or tracking cookies to find their region, or make it so that you have to display where you're from when you're browsing the eBay site? Why can't eBay display the price after tax or show base amount plus tax equals this? Because we already do it with shipping. Okay? Don't tell me that the sticker shock at checkout is the reason why people aren't buying. Because there's a lot of times that people will go online and expect something to be, free shipping, and they get to checkout and they see it's $3.99. Sure, they have that moment of lament, but, odds are if somebody's fully committed to the item, they're going to convert through. Now, $4 on a $40 item for shipping isn't the worst. It's about a 10% amount. Most people's sales taxes aren't that high. The national average is 6% as far as sales tax is concerned. So the sticker shock shouldn't be a reason why GMV is down. Sure, can it hinder it? 100%. And I know they talked about carts being abandoned as one of the primary reasons is why GMV was down, but knowing that we're having a problem and not being able to fix it is really, really concerning, because I appreciate and I recognize that you've stated a problem that we're having, but you have offered no resolutions to it. This is what I tell my now girlfriend. I told her, I'm not going to complain about a problem unless I can offer you a solution to fix it, even if it means it's coming out of my pocket. If I'm going to complain about it, I'm sure as heck going to offer a way to fix it. So combine the two. Make it based on the region at which you're buying the item. I bought something the other day. It was $15. Okay, and I click commit to buy. I click commit to buy. I am committed to getting this item at $14.99 with free shipping. I was not shown a sales tax amount on that screen. Sure, it might have said 6.75% CA tax, but I didn't see that amount until I actually went to the final checkout where I was shown $16.40. But was I shown it? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I thought I was paying $15 and I clicked pay now on the final screen, and then I got the, that notification that comes down over the top. The shade is what we call it. It said you paid $16.40 to eBay or PayPal, whatever user. And I'm like, $16.40? I'm like, oh, I probably got charged tax. I didn't even realize I was being charged tax because I thought the transaction was going to be $14.99. And I know if it happened to me, it's probably happening to a lot of other people. So I'm not going to sit here and say that that's the only reason why sales are down. It's because we're seeing a change in the habituated consumer. eBay isn't as exciting as it was before, and that's happening. What's exciting right now? What are the exciting platforms? Etsy, Posh, and Mercari. They're very exciting. They're happening platforms. Amazon is even seeing declining sales, but their GMV is still rock solid. And we're going to talk about their numbers here right now. It said net sales increased 24% to $70 billion in the third quarter compared to $56.6 billion in the third quarter for 2018. Excluding the $500 million unfavorable impact from year-over-year changes in foreign exchange rates, which is going to happen. Nobody can really, if you can guess the exchange rate coming into the future, you'll be a billionaire. Net sales increased 25% compared with Q3 of 2018. That's wild. So Amazon, for their e-commerce end of the business, had a 25% growth year over year from 2018 in Q3. Now, eBay, if we look at Q3 from the previous year, Q3 was huge for eBay last year. And if you don't remember the shareholder call, we attribute it to what? What was it? Two things. Two factors that caused them to have a huge Q3 last year. I'll tell you what, if somebody can guess the two reasons why Q3 was huge for eBay in 2018, I'll give you a $10 eBay gift card right now, which you can buy something for $9.50 plus tax and then be able to cover it. Highly relevant comment said, sold a set of floor mats yesterday and they got cancel requested 3 minutes later. Wonder if that was a sales tax thing. It totally could have been a sales tax thing. Yeah. And here's the thing. I stopped approving cancel request. I just won't do it. I just ship the item out. I'm sorry. If you bought the item, and I'll even tell eBay too, because I think one of my customers called eBay and asked if eBay could contact me. So I got one of those letters. I'm sorry. I'm shipping the item out. If you bought the item, I'm shipping the item. If you paid me, the item's going out the door. I am not required to check my email inbox for your cancellation request before I send my item out the door. I'm not going to do it. Okay. I use Pirate Ship to do all my shipping, so I don't look at my messages before my items go out the door. Could I? Sure. I'm not going to. Okay. Because I'm a grown adult who's in charge of selling items. You're a grown adult in charge of buying items. Why should I help you if you're not going to help me? Okay. Got a few cancels as well. I think it's the taxes. Yeah. Anything's possible. So, okay, here's the two things, guys. Two reasons why Q3 was such a big year last year for eBay. Coupons was one of the big ones. And number two, fidget spinners. And they even talked about during the shareholder call about the impact that fidget spinners had for first-time customers coming to the platform. First-time buyers coming to the platform, because where else are you going to go to get a cheap-ass fidget spinner? Okay, the only place online you can go and pay, 99 cents shipped from Taiwan to be able to have one shipped out to you. Number one. Yep. So, moving on, marketing spend. We continue to have a strong marketing budget used to drive buyers to your listings through a variety of channels, advertising, search, and own channels, social media, and more. What are the numbers, though? Okay. Why is it that on this call and the previous call and the previous one before that, as well as all the transcripts, when you say that you're doing a reduction in ad spend, why are we only getting a qualitative answer but not a quantitative answer? I don't want to hear that ad spend is down. I want to know exactly how much ad spend is down. How far down is the ad spend? Are we going from, $1 billion a year in ad spend on our ads that we run on other platforms down to $10,000? What type of reduction are we looking at? Okay, because it's been the wordage and the verbiage that's been used makes it seem like a pretty darn drastic cut in ad spend. And we know this because of the discussion regarding the the first party, the sellers on the platform, the money that they're spending on ads as well. Oh, sorry, I had to pop my ankle. Whew. So yeah, we know about the ad spend and as far as that end is concerned. But I want the actual figures. He says, as our customers find information on new and different channels, which means Mercari, Posh, Etsy, we are adjusting our ad spend to meet them where they are. So they're trying to spend money to be able to recruit people who are on other platforms to come across to eBay. Well, the thing is, eBay's really tarnished its reputation already. Most of the people who have left eBay are never going to come back again. Okay, it's not like Amazon. It's not like where 50 cents out of every dollar in e-commerce passes through the platform. People who don't like eBay will never like eBay. People who've been scammed, people who've been burned, people who feel like they can't trust the site, people who feel like they charge too much, people who feel like management doesn't care and doesn't listen to them, they're not coming back. So even if you spend all that money over there, you're not going to recruit somebody who's loving their posh closet to come back and sell clothing on eBay because it's not an exciting proposition. Give me a sales pitch to come start on eBay right now as a brand new seller. It's not an exciting proposition for somebody who's having success elsewhere. Okay. If I'm successful on Posh, Etsy, and Mercari, give me one good reason why I should sell on eBay. eBay, as I've said before, is a backbone for education and training to be able to learn how to be successful within e-commerce, but they're not doing anything to evolve the platform now. Some of the things that we're seeing in other platforms that are making the experience faster or more convenient or more customer-centric, eBay seems to have lost sight of. So efforts are focused on attracting longer-lasting, healthy buyers for the marketplace. We are expanding our channel mix and doubling down on things that are working here. So they're really emphasizing the fact that they're looking for buyers. What does that mean? That means that they understand that GMV is down and they need more people to come and spend money. No one wants to come spend money on eBay because it's a hideous site. And now I get it. Okay, it's really expensive to overhaul the site. But if you paid down $6 billion worth of debt this last year, this last quarter, this last half quarter or half year, why couldn't we have spent, $250 million on making the site look better or making the site operate better? Who else's search has been busted this week? Okay, where you have to hit search again and again and again and again, and then it finally loads. Okay, because it just won't load through the first time. Okay, it's a hideous site. If you guys saw on our Facebook group this week, I put up a post showing this disgusting array of ads on a mobile listing. Here, we're just going to pull up a random mobile listing right now so I can show you. Let's do a search for Kidrobot lot. Okay, I'm constantly buying Kidrobot items. So we're going to look to see how many ads we get on this listing. Okay, so I scrolled all the way down to the bottom, okay? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different ads right there. And then now we also have an ad for eBay MasterCard as well. Now, this slot right here, I've seen filled with ASPCA recently. So that is 5 ads. Oh, wait, hold on. We also have the financing option, PayPal credit. eBay gets paid on that one as well. And then we also have, we have similar sponsored items. So people are paying to be able to have those ones there. eBay is getting paid on those as well. Okay. So what can we say? 7 ads? 7 ads on one listing for one item. And here's the real rub. Okay. I wouldn't be upset with that if I wasn't paying to have my listing there. Okay. You're charging me 30 cents, 35 cents, 40 cents down to 15 or so, depending on the volume of your store. You're charging me to place my listing on your site, and then you're going to run anywhere between 5 to 10 ads against my listing, encouraging people to leave the site and buy things elsewhere, encouraging people to get lines of credit so you can get your referral credit, encouraging people to go donate money God knows where, okay, after I've paid to have the listing there. Where else on the internet do you pay to have a page, run tons of ads against it, and then you generate no revenue from those ads? I would be fine. If my listings were free, I would feel less upset about it. If my listings paid me to have them there, because here's how it works. I have a gorgeous item. Pick an item. I have a gorgeous item. I list it online. I pay you 35 cents for the opportunity to sell it. How much money are you making, eBay, by running ads against my listing? How much are you making? Is my listing that brings in 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 impressions because maybe I have a one-of-a-kind in the world item, okay? And I bring in 50,000 listings, 50,000 across probably 8 ads for something like that. That's 400,000 ad impressions. How much did you make for that, eBay? Did you make a penny per impression? Okay, penny per 2 impressions, let's say. Okay. You're making $20, $30, $40, $50,000 against my one listing. It's ridiculous. We're not getting any of that money. If you give me some of that money, I ain't going to complain. But these are the things that we should be talking about. These are the things that we should be bringing light to. Why are people not more fired up about these problems on the site? So channels such as Etsy, Mercari, and Posh, okay, that's what they're saying. We're going to go get the buyers who are over there. You're not. You have no way of doing it. While we previously cast a wide net, we now have more knowledge of our customers and their behavior. Why? Well, they're buying elsewhere. Okay, so you have the knowledge of what they don't like. This means we can use incentives to meet their specific needs, allowing us to surprise and delight, this was in quotes, but not rely heavily on site-wide coupons. How? How are you going to surprise and delight a customer? I really want to know that, because that just seems like PR fluff if I've ever heard it in my life. I saw one of the comments that somebody had left on another site about this and said that there is more baloney in this letter than every deli in New York City. And I thought that was hilarious, because seeing stuff like this really makes me upset. And like I said, site-wide coupons plus fidget spinners are why 2018 for eBay succeeded. Or what are we going to surprise and delight them with a new hot toy? eBay had no business in making the fidget spinner fad a thing. They just happened to catch that wave and ride it to profitability. Category focus. This is an area this is my words, this is his words again. This is an area that gets me really excited. eBay will unapologetically embrace the things that make us different and highlight the reasons people should come look to us. Looking ahead, we are working to succeed in key areas where we have the right to win and deliver great experience for buyers and sellers in a sustainable way. Protecting and growing our ownable selection of things you cannot find at mainstream resellers, new from expressive machines to exact car parts, refurbished tech and tools from your favorite brands, hard to find collectibles and comics, and the magic of Main Street from toys to local artists, ensuring we are differentiated in the market as well. But my question to that is, how can you be both different and the same? Because we already know that eBay has really lost their identity. And I know every one of you knows when somebody says, eBay's just trying to be like Amazon, you grumble and you nod your head, because it's true. So you can't be different and be the same at the same time. He also goes on to say, emphasizing that we are defined by our purpose, empowering people and creating economic opportunity. We are setting eBay up for long-term success by giving you, our sellers, the tools and resources you've told us you need to be successful. We don't compete with you and never will. That's an absolute lie. If you didn't compete with us, why are you running ads against our listings? Okay? If you wanted to give us all the tools to succeed, why are you charging me for a store? Why are you charging me for advanced selling tools? Why are you charging me for the back-end manager to be able to make my hub easier to navigate? Okay, if you want to give me all the tools to succeed, give them to me. Don't charge me for them. That's not giving you the tools to succeed. Okay, you're making the tools available. Okay, but you're not giving them to anyone. So the other question on it too, who are we empowering? It's not me. Okay. You're empowering the big brands. And we talked about this for a while. Furthermore, we allow you to build your brand on eBay because we firmly believe eBay is the strongest when you feel a strong connection to your customers. From hobbyist to small business and everything in between, you each add something unique to the marketplace, and the diversity of our community and breadth of our inventory bring the magic to eBay. What is this alternate reality this guy is talking about? None of this makes any sense at all. I have no clue what website he is talking about because it is not eBay. When you say our inventory, whose inventory are you talking about? I think he's talking about the Chinese, okay? Because they own a predominant share of the inventory on the site. If you want to talk about that unique, that magic, that amazing experience, go to Mercari. That's where you get that. You get a very, very unique, very wild west of eBay type experience. And when you say right here, we firmly believe eBay is the strongest when you feel a strong connection to your customers. How many customers have you connected with in the last year? How many of you felt the need to send a personalized message to? How many have written back to you and thanked you personally for the experience they've gotten? Now, us out here who do fair volume, who work hard to develop a customer experience, what can we say? 1, 2, 3, maybe even 5? How many customers have you been forced to connect with because they left you a negative feedback? 2, 3, 4, 5? So what type of connections are we really building with our customers? None, because there's no customer loyalty on eBay. It's not designed that way. Now, Mercari is designed with customer loyalty in mind. You can follow a seller, and it populates a news feed and shows you those items of the sellers that you're following. That's how you connect with customers. Okay. I can send somebody a message. As soon as I'm done putting somebody's order together, I send them a message. Hey, thanks so much for buying that. I really appreciate it. Do I need to do that? No, but I want to build a customer experience, and I have an opportunity to be a part of a platform that I really see growing. And by be a part of, I mean just to be a seller on it. I am so excited to be someplace where I feel as if we have a new beginning. I really feel it's going to take off. Continuing, 2020 will mark our 25th anniversary. Now more than ever, we need to lean into where we excel as a marketplace and where our buyers and sellers have the best experiences in uniquely eBay ways. This won't happen overnight, and I'm committed to being with you throughout this multi-year journey. If we work together and take the long view, this will be how we grow through our next 25 years. Multi-year journey. That's a lot more telling than I think people realize. They know things are bad right now. And I'm really shocked that they let this line come out in this letter, that this one section didn't get pulled for that single line. We are committed to being with you throughout this multi-year journey. So they get things are bad right now. It's going to take time to fix this. That's how bad it is. And they say, we're committed to being there with you through this process. We're going to have a discussion regarding motives at the end of this show this week. And I want you to think back to this moment here when we get to that part. Leading us forward, a top priority in my new role was to find the right leader for our selling organization. Having previously worked with our sellers in 2017, Marnie Levine stood out as having vision, tenacity, empathy, yada, 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 yada. Talking about Marnie and her team will bring your voice into everything we do, reboot our engagement through our events and regular touch points, and foster a strong spirit of community. Reboot that engagement. What engagement? When was the last time you participated in an eBay event outside of eBay Open? Okay, well, most of us haven't. I never have. I went to one eBay Open and I've been selling on eBay for 15 years. Where is the engagement? Oh, well, are you talking about the Retail Revival program? And you guys already know where I'm going with this. Retail Revival is a scam. I cannot wait until December when my video comes out and I expose the entire program as a scam. As a cash grab, as a publicity stunt, the Retail Revival program. Continuing, I'm excited about what Marnie and I will do in the weeks and months to come. She is an incredible seller, champion, and together we are ready to tackle tough challenges. You can also count me on to continue to be honest about how I am approaching my role. Hearing from you is one of the best parts of my job since I'm not always able to respond immediately. My team has been working on ways for you to quote unquote ask me anything. We'll kick this off shortly and I'll make sure to address questions that are top of your mind for most of you. Now here's the thing, okay? We have a forum where you can actually ask people at eBay questions directly and get answers. It is trash. It is disgustingly bad. Why it is set up the way it is pains me. So here's how it works. Somebody at eBay will choose a general topic that the chat or the communication is going to be about. And then we're going to provide you a 2-hour window where you and everyone else who sells on eBay who needs help, 2 hours, and we're going to have, 2 to 4 people manning this discussion board, 2 hours to answer your questions. If you don't get your question in time, or we run out of time before we get the chance to answer your question, no answer for you. And then that's it. Then we're gone until next week when we have 2 more hours for you. And this is how the community forums work. On top of that, they cherry pick the questions. They won't answer the hard questions. They won't answer the ones that could potentially make them lose bad. I'll close by once again reiterating that we are deeply committed to driving your business growth now and into the future. Jordan doesn't even put his last name. He might have. I might not have even taken the time to type it. So yeah, that's his letter. Whose business is he looking to help? His business or my business? I don't think it's my business. I think it's his business that he wants to help. We have to remember, okay, I know we lose sight of this often. We mean nothing to eBay. And I know it's a frustrating thing to hear. Some of you who are out there doing $500,000 to $1 million a year, yes, you are an important piece to eBay. But the reality is the America's market is such a small amount of the revenue that the eBay brand as a whole generates, because you have StubHub and eBay Classified and then the rest of the world generating money. So American sellers, the people that are here right now and the fees that they collect off of us, really only attributes for a few % of the actual total amount of money that eBay makes every single year. It's really frustrating, guys. But that's why we get excited about news sites like Mercari, because you never know what's going to happen next. You never know what platform you're going to need to diversify to. Guys, let's talk about some small news, small developing stories, and the stuff that other YouTubers are going to be talking about next week. eBay has a new shipping option for international shipping coming next year. It sounds horrible. It's tariff-free, but it leaves too much room for manipulation on the part of the buyer. If you're buying something and they're not paying the duties right then, guess what? That means that the buyer can allow the item to get all the way to their country, reject paying the duties, have the item sent back. And guess what? If you want to get your item back, you're going to be responsible to pay for those duties. Do not sign up for this new program, especially if it's offered to you in the beta. Do not do it. Never participate in an eBay beta. It's not a smart idea, okay? Unless a good one comes along, and then I'll let you know. This is not one that I would try and be a part of. Other thing, Monday is Veterans Day. Thank you to all of our veterans. We appreciate your service. It means a lot to us. And so I don't believe there's mail on Monday either. On top of that, we changed the group settings for our Facebook group. We had a handful of people reach out and say, hey, I don't want everyone on my timeline knowing what I do for a living or seeing how I comment and engage. We had enough people reach out to us and ask us to change the group to private. We went ahead and did that. So if you're one of those people that has been kind of lurking in the background and didn't want to comment because you were worried about that, our group settings are now private and you can go gangbusters on it as well. Hello to you, Daniel and Rocky. We got a couple of new faces in the house. Happy to have you so much, guys. And if you haven't done so yet, take 2 seconds, subscribe to our channel. It really helps us out with what we're doing. And then if you're one of those amazing people and you have like some strength left in your thumb, if you wouldn't mind just pressing that like button for us real quick. It really, really helps us out with what we're doing. So yeah, that's all of our news on the week. I don't think we have any other stuff that we need to talk about. I do have a whole bunch of pickups. So if you guys are here to see some items, we're going to do pickups, we're going to do story time, we're going to do final thought, and then I'm going to let you guys get out of here. How does that sound for everyone? So last week, I actually didn't go through all my items. I had some left over. We're going to look at some of them now. We're going to look at some of the new stuff that I got, but we're going to be sandbagging some more of it again, just because I have too much stuff to go through. So let's see what we got. I don't know what's in any of my bags, if I have bags. Oh, okay. So the other day I went to drop off my car at the mechanic. I was having some issues, and right across the street there's a Goodwill. And this Goodwill has generally been pretty bad to me. It was great before I moved into town, but after I came back, let's lower that chair. After I came back, it just simply wasn't as good anymore. And I really couldn't wrap my head around as to why it wasn't. But I think it might have been timing. This is the first time that I went before noon to that thrift store, and it was a banger. And I realized that that's kind of the time that I went before, and I guess somebody else is working that thrift store and stripping down all the good things before the end of the day. So I got a couple of items. Now, somebody within our group actually posted a thing regarding cameras, and they were talking about old film cameras. And I actually managed to find this Olympus with the original box. It has the manual in there too, and it's in really good shape, all things considered, for the age. Now, if this tests out and works fine, which I'm pretty sure it will, because most of these analog cameras have no issues when it comes to working, this is worth between $40 and $50. I had no clue that quality film cameras were back on the rise again. And we're talking this very, very interesting in-between period when we were going from film to digital, when film cameras were getting really, really good and digital cameras were first coming to the market, and they weren't that great. So we have the absolute high end of this category. And you see the same thing when you look at VCR DVD combos. When we saw the best of those categories, those are going for hundreds of dollars right now. Same thing's happening with digital film cameras or analog film cameras right now. The best of the best within that respective category are starting to soar, and some of them are getting well over $100. Mr. Exquisite says, I do really good with 35 millimeter cameras. And thank you for pointing that out. That's probably how I should describe this. This is a 35 millimeter camera. This is an Olympus Stylus Epic Zoom 80 specifically, if you're curious. $399 in, about $40 to $50 out, depending on how I do. Daniel asks, have you had any luck with automotive parts? Generally, no. And it partly has to do with the fact that there's so many other people out there that are spending their entire life price competing against listings like mine. They have no problem lowering something a few cents constantly and being underneath of me because they really need to move a volume. Now, if you get unique parts, sometimes you can do okay, but I have some Porsche blinker lights. I have some high-end hubcap covers. They've sat around forever. If the margins are good enough on anything, I'm willing to play the waiting game, but auto parts are really, really far down on my list, but to each their own. If you've had great luck with it, power to you. It's just not a strong category for me, but I can totally understand how it can be a strong category for others. I also picked up some Weight Watchers stuff, and we've had Weight Watchers items before. We've had cups, we've had scales, we've had the whole gamut, but I picked up these Weight Watcher trackers for tracking your intake. And I got 3 different ones, $199, $199, and $199. Now, after I dropped my car off, I took an Uber home because I'm a responsible adult who will not ask people for favors unless I absolutely need them. So I took an Uber home after that, and I was talking with the guy in the car. He's like, oh, so what do you do? You know, because he was wondering why somebody leaves a thrift store and then pays $20 to get into an Uber and get home. And I explained to him, I just wanted to run inside real quick, make enough money to cover my Uber over and back, and then, carry on with my day. And he's like, what do you mean? So I talked with him about this item, and I told him, well, when it comes to stuff like this, let's say you did Weight Watchers before and it worked really, really well for you. You had a lot of success with Weight Watchers. And one of the things that was the cornerstone of your success was being able to track your calories and such on the go. And you don't want to use the app. Okay, you don't like apps, you don't like technology. Nana doesn't want to use her cell phone to keep track of her carbs intake, okay? What does Nana want? Nana wants her 1993, or whatever year this is, 1994 Weight Watchers analog clicker, the same one she used and she lost 40 pounds on in the late 90s. She wants to do the same thing again. And this device is the cornerstone of her success. Or at least in her mind it is. And we have a lot of people that are that way. When we talk about dead tech, we talk about old home phones, old answering machines, calculators, cash registers, computer tech, mouses, trackball ones. People are very fixed in their ways. And if somebody uses a specific thing, trust me when I say this, $30 to get back on track to start losing weight again, it's a very small price to pay. I believe all of my units are brand new as well. Brand new or near new. Yeah, this one's completely zeroed out. If somebody had picked it up and played with it, they wouldn't have left it on zeros. Sorry about that. My autofocus is a little bit slow sometimes. But yeah, great piece. The other ones are wrapped up nicely. They look like they haven't ever been opened. Yeah, I'll probably get $20 to $30 a piece for these bad boys. Easy money all day long. $2 in a pop on them. I could probably even sell them as a lot and force somebody to buy them all for $60 to $70 if I was too lazy to split them apart. If you if you find that magic pill to lose weight, I'll buy some from you. Totally. You know, I had a friend, and this is a weird story. Okay, don't tell anyone this story. This is between us. And because he'll probably be upset if he knows I told this story on air. And he says, I don't know what's going on, but my girlfriend is losing a ton of weight. Okay, she's taking some kind of pill or something. I'm like, hey, go talk to her. Go find out what she's taken. I could really use a little bit of a helping hand in losing some weight. And he's like, I don't know what it is. She's not exercising or anything. She's still eating the same amount. She's just losing just a ton of weight. He goes and talks with her. She refused to tell him what she was taking. And they had been dating for like 4 or 5 years at this point. She refused to tell him. She would not tell him at all what she was taking. She ended up dropping, I think it was something like 80 pounds over the course of like 4 months, 6 months, somewhere in there. It was ridiculous, the amount of weight that this girl lost. Still to this day, won't tell me. Yeah, or won't tell anyone what she was taking. And Daniel, I'm not gonna rule out the odd stuff. I'm just gonna say that right now. By the way, oh my God. By the way, hit a deer on the way home from the casino yesterday, and now I need a new bumper and grill. There goes my $650 of winnings. That is horrendous. I do hope that you enjoyed the deer, though. I'm going to say that much. I know some states require you to eat the darn thing if you kill it, but yeah. But yeah, we'll talk story time here in a bit. I appreciate you commenting on that post, and I didn't reply to your comment. I just ran out of time. I read it, though. And I assumed you were at Chancey Casino because I don't know why. Last time somebody posted a ticket, it's the exact same format. I know a lot of them use the same types of machines. I've seen a couple of variants. I just assumed it was a Chancey ticket when you had put it up there. And Mindy says it should be covered by insurance as a road hazard. I would tell them it was vandalism. Be like, that deer vandalized the front of my car, and that might be covered too. Yeah, God's made sure you were covered. Yep, blessing in disguise, I suppose. What else do we got? We got some cool stuff still. You guys ever seen one of these? Imagine, who was here? Tell me in the comments. Who was here when I was still shooting in front of a green screen and knows that this item would have been invisible if I had shot in front of that item? Okay. This is a Old Navy piggy bank. These things are highly collectible, depending on which kind you have. There's people that pay good money for these bad boys. I do like the fact that it's even dated. It says fall 10 on the bottom, or fall 2010. I paid $1. Look at that. $1. And this is an easy $20, maybe even $30. Depends on how aggressive you want to be. People love these things. Take a few minutes, clean them up, make them look good, send them out the door. This is a real easy bolo that a lot of people miss out on. This is one of those bolos, I'm going to tell you, lock it into your head. Okay. And sometimes I show items on here and I'm like, don't worry about it. You're never going to see one of these. It's not worth thinking about. This is probably my 4th one since I started doing this show. I usually find about one of these a year. There's 100 different styles of them. So go online and get a little bit familiar with this item and look at some of the different variations. They're always in the toy section. You will always find these things. The better the condition, the more styling that's going on, the more money you're going to make. I like this one because it had a rib top across the top, little sparkle effects, and overall just a very clean piece. I'm reaching for an item right now. It's a handful of items, actually. So I got these really cute, tiny Build-A-Bear plushies. I think these are all Build-A-Bears. I think there's our McDonald's Build-A-Bear pieces. I got all of these for like $2. I'm going to list this on Mercari. I'm probably going to clean them up and ask $15. And I'm just going to say this right now. Someone's going to buy these, okay? People just buy stuff like this on Mercari because I think what it is too is I think, oh, that one right there, great question, Daniel. This one is made of a high-density plastic or PVC. It's like a very thick, it has a light amount of flex to it. So when it comes to shipping those, you can send those out first class because you don't have to worry about glass breaking or anything. So that's what makes the margins worth it on it. I'm at a point right now where I will not buy an item for eBay unless I can make a $20 profit on the item after everything's said and done. Now, again, I must stress, your cost basis is going to be different than mine. Do not take what I just said as something that you should be doing for your business. The amount of money you want to make per item is going to be solely based on where your brand is at now and your financial goals. My goals are a little bit different because I have to drive so much time into this show. I can't work with $10 and $12 profits anymore unless I'm getting an item in quantity. If I can get 3 of something and make $10 on each one, that's a $30 profit for my time. I'm not going to make $10 on a single unit. It's not worth it to me right now because it takes away from the show when I do that. And yeah, it won't break in shipping, which is great. These Build-A-Bears, cute little things. I paid almost nothing for them. This next one, guys, I get so excited when I can come across an item that is actually interesting to me. Some of you looked at this and you said, I know exactly what that is. And other ones of you are looking at this, I have no clue what I'm looking at right now. Anyone guess this one? First person to guess this gets absolutely nothing. We're giving away nothing to the first person. Somebody says pods. That is incorrect. Good guess, though. Pogs, that is correct. Give that one to Yellow Brick Reselling. I think I know who you are, but I'm not going to, I told people I'm not going to use names on here anymore. Not only do we have, it's actually not Pogs. See, I didn't open this all the way up. This is actually, appears to be just slammers. Okay. And the slammers are the hard pieces that are used to flip over the Pogs. And I'm going to tell you right now, okay, if anyone wants to play Pogs for money, and I knew it was you, Tamara. I just didn't want to say that because we don't use names on here anymore. If anyone wants to play me Pogs for money at eBay Open, you are on. I will destroy you at Pogs. But the first one that I saw, and I know it's mildly graphic, okay, because the artwork of the 80s is fascinating to me. And this one right here I found to be really, really interesting. And this was the one that was on the very top of the stack. It has a little bit of a lenticular effect, and it's got pretty much blood coming from the center of the hand. We got a robot. Oh, that's so cool. I haven't looked through these yet. Okay. This one looks like a rose with blood coming off of it. Sorry, it's focusing on the wrong spot. It's trying really hard to focus. We got a skull one. This is a plastic one. Oh, you remember these ones from Walgreens? You used to be able to get them in the bin. Oh, classic poison. Oh yeah. Who's having a little hit of memories right now, or is this after all of your guys' times? Daniel says he still has his. That's awesome. Oh, look at this graphics. Oh, I get so excited by stuff like this. This is you got a fist holding a serpent or a cobra of some variety. I'm sorry about it's not focusing in. It's really trying to keep track of my face. We got a Taurus one. I have no clue what this is. Ioxy? No clue. It's cool looking though. But yeah, I picked up this entire stack, classic 8-ball. I paid $1 for it with the case. Good old John 316 on a rainbow slammer. We got, oh, you hear that sound? That's classic Pogs. We got a couple of clear ones. You got the Jesus Christ cross on the thick metal one. These are cool. These are really cool. I'm excited to have this. I would say this slammer lot with the tube is probably worth about $25 to $30. And you know what? It might even sell on Mercari as well. It's one of those types of items. You know, the graphics on these are great. And these slammers are actually black backed. And I've never seen ones like this before. They're usually unpainted or unfinished metal. And that's how you can tell I used to play. You see how quickly I loaded those all back in there? Okay, guys, next item up. We got an Olympus pearl quarter. My new girlfriend actually found this, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later if you guys feel like hearing about that. But she found this in the bottom of a bin. I've been training her well, too. I told her, I'm like, when you see boxes of electronics, there's a handful of different types of items we're looking for, and one of them is recorders, whether it's cassette recorders or digital recorders. And she went, 20 seconds later, she's like this? I'm like, exactly like that. That is exactly what we're looking for. And she fished this all out on her own. So I'm very, very proud of her. $20 to $30 bill for this little bad boy. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled for these things. They do vary. There are some that are as cheap as $10. So these are no longer a snap buy. They all require a little bit of research to make sure you're going to get one that's going to be worth something. And yes, Daniel, shoot to the bottom. That is 100% correct. Here's another one. I wasn't happy about buying this one. The guy sold it to me for $1. It's worth maybe $18. I'm not feeling great about it working, but screw it. You know, it's a buck or two in, and sometimes you're just building favor with some of these people. This is a guy at the swap meet that I've seen multiple times over, and I have no problem, you know, paying $1, paying the cost of admission, breaking ice, maybe getting a favorable deal later, handing him money, asking him how his day is going, and building a stronger bridge for the next time I have to do business with him. Now, if you remember last week, I showed off a Gundam figure. Now, that guy that I bought the Gundam figure from, I also bought this from. I don't believe this was the original packaging for this, but it very well could have been. We have Doodle Tops. There we go, Doodle Tops. And it's a top, and you can see the little markers down there too. Yeah. And they're all brand new in there. They all look like they're in great condition. This appears to be of the right era. I'm going to say like early 90s or so. Here, let me see if I can get the paper out of here. I couldn't find an active comp without going through any effort. Yeah, 1991. It says refill pens are available as well. Cool little graphics. I don't know, $20? Would somebody pay that? I have no clue. For the $1 I paid for it, I'm willing to find out. Somebody had even asked me in the group, they said, Jay, is this all you do, like one-offs? And I said, yeah, that's really all I do, because isn't that what most resellers do, one-offs? Opposed to buying like 30 things of eyedroppers at Walgreens and then selling them even though they're expired online. I enjoy doing things this way. Exolite, Bristol, multiple spline screwdrivers. This looked expensive. Anytime you see something, you're like, man, if I went to the store to buy that, firstly, I don't think I would find it in Walmart. And when I did find it, I think I'm going to pay a premium for it. If you think that about an item when you see it, then that's probably, and thank you for that laugh, Pam. You got that joke. If you see something like this, look it up. This set right here is going to be worth about $30. I think I paid $2, maybe $3 for it at most. Easy turnaround. It's missing one or two pieces. I don't really care. The complete ones are $40 to $50, so I'll take my $30 bill on this one because somebody's still going to be able to benefit from it. You guys want some more items? We're running low on time, guys. We're going to show one more item, and then we're going to start wrapping up. And don't worry, we're going to have a big item show coming up here towards the end of the month. I think we're going to have like an item extravaganza so I can get caught up before I go on vacation. We have this really, really, really cool plush. Probably one of the most interesting plushes that I've seen in a long time. And again, my beautiful girlfriend found it. She was digging through a pile of plush helping me out. And she said, hey, what about this one? And every now and then, you know, she stumbles across a great one. I'm trying to fix this one up a little bit. Now, she does great. She finds great ones. Look at this. This Little Red Riding Hood. Have you guys ever seen this one before? Check this out. Are you ready? This is really cool. Then it turns into the wolf. How cool is that? Now, if you thought that was cool, wait till you see this. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? Okay. I've never seen one of these before. Now, this is by the Dakin Company, or the Dakin, depending on who you are. Very, very cool piece. Now, the history on this, on Terapeak, isn't that strong because it was listed incorrectly. Not the right keywords, not the right information on the listing. The person just kind of short sold it like 6+6 shipping. Foolish seller, listed correctly. Easy $30 bill when done right. Great piece to pick up. Again, because it's a plush, $1 in, 50 cents in. 75 cents even in sometimes. It is fine. Yellow Brick says, I either sold one of those or I still have one of those. I love it when people ask me questions like that. They're like, hey, do you have one of these? I'm like, I might. I don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm like, I don't know. I got 1,000 items listed right now. Your guess is as good as mine as whether or not I have one. Donald Lockwood says, a Christian symbol. When the early church was being persecuted, you would draw a picture of a fish. If they were a Christian, they could write ioxy inside the fish. Whoa, that is interesting. Yeah, that's in regards to the slammers that we were talking about a minute ago. Donna, you might be running a few minutes behind live, but that's not a big deal. Enjoy the rest of the show when you catch up to this. Yep, and it is an awesome doll. I'll tell you what, we'll look at one more item. Ooh, this is gonna be a difficult one to talk about because I watched as another reseller put this back down on the ground. And this reseller is my friend. She was there with me, and I didn't talk with her about this when this happened. She picked up 2 stuffed animals off the ground, and she negotiated with the person. The person wanted $2 a piece, and she kind of did the head bob, which she executed flawlessly, okay? That level of uncertainty. She's like, and then the lady came back and she said, give me $3 for both. And then Susan, being the savage that she is, she said, let me give you $1 for one of these. And she hit her with the $1. The customer wavered. She waited, wavered, accepted. And it was a flawless negotiation. It was perfectly executed. I couldn't have been any more proud of the process. The only thing I wasn't excited about is that she put the other one back down. Okay. This is a Lionel bear. Okay. Yep, I think it's a Lionel. Oh no, did she get the Lionel and I got the gun? Maybe I don't know. We're gonna have to fix the music box and find out. This is a gun bear. She got the Lionel bear. I thought I got a Lionel as well. She got the $24 plush then. I don't know what I have. So I guess she outdid me. I retract my statement. I thought this was a Lionel as well because they were right next to each other wearing the almost identical outfits. Live and learn, I suppose. Let me see if I can find one more item for you guys. This is a cute one. This is one that I was really on the fence about buying. I don't like spending... Oh, I just learned something. Learned something new about this item. Susan, we both missed out on this one. Yes, Susan, you got the Lionel. I realized we screwed up on this item just now. I just right now learned this. Okay, so we were both eyeballing this bag of plush, okay? And I'm going to pull them out for you right now. This bag was expensive as far as plush is concerned. This bag cost $6, okay? We normally don't pay that much for plush ever. And I was looking at them. I'm like, okay, there's a handful of small Zooms in here. They're in okay condition. I'm sure we can make some money on them, which I still believe is true. So we got, the Disney Infinity one. We got, this guy. We got a tiny little BMO. Yes, Pam, you can have that. We got this Fox. And I'm going through these quickly just because you guys know what Zooms. This one's really cute. This one's probably going to go on my shelf for next week. We'll make some space for him. We got the Pluto over here. If you collect Zooms, okay, and you're interested in these, let me know. We'll get you a great deal on them. We got the C-3PO. I've just realized right now that some of the tags are clipped, which is really going to hurt the end price. I don't see a scenario where I make less than that, but what I just realized, which was inside of the bag, was this. Who here can tell me what this is? I will be very, very impressed if anyone knows what this is. I know what this is. Anyone from Fresno should know what this is. Okay, and this is a mascot. Okay. Simply Dana says, I know him. Go ahead and call it out if you know what his name is. This is a Scoopy. This is the bee from the Fresno Bee. This is their mascot plush. Now, why is that at all interesting? And Modesto Bee and Sacramento Bee as well. All three. Why is this interesting? Because do you know who designed this character? Okay. Walt Disney designed this character. Okay, it's really interesting to see it with other Disney items. Now, obviously, the person who bundled it with it had no idea, but Walt Disney actually designed this character, and it's one of the only characters or only pieces of things owned by only things owned, not owned by the Walt Disney establishment that's actually out there. So there are people who collect Scoopy Bees. It's not a huge community of people, but they do. So I'll probably get anywhere between $10 to $20, maybe a hair more, depending on where the market is for something like this. And they have different ones as well, but this is an interesting one. This is a cute one. It's not really showing up too well the vibrancy of the color, but it is a cutie. And but yeah, feel free to look it up online. It's an interesting thing to know. So let me get all my toys out of here. I'm just covered in stuffed animals right now. Oh, we even have this cute one too. I forgot to show that one. So guys, those are the pickups on the week. And you know, it's been an interesting week this week. I actually took a little bit of vacation time. I went down to Fresno, and I didn't tell anyone that I was going down there. I really wanted to keep it a private affair. And I left with someone that I was seeing, and I returned with a girlfriend. Yeah, I know. Go figure. This guy's actually got a girlfriend, which means profits are going to be way down in 2020. I'm going to be bleeding money like mad. No, I don't think it'll be that bad. She's a great one. But we went and we had a fantastic trip. It was so good to finally get away and spend a little bit of that money that I worked so hard to earn over the last year or two, kind of cut loose and relax a bit. But yeah, we went out there and we spent the night. We got a suite up at the casino and, had a few drinks and, did a little bit of gambling. Didn't really lose much of anything. Lost maybe $40 on the night. Went and did some fantastic sourcing. Susan wants to see another item. She doesn't want to hear my story. Susan, you've seen everything else. You've seen all the other stuff I have. You were there for it all. Okay? I'll show more items next week. But yeah, it was a fantastic time that we had. And then we even hit Bravo Farms on the way back. Kudos to James Barker for being the first person to guess correctly within our group. And you got $10 waiting for you. Just send me a message. And Corgi, I am not going to give any information about her online for her privacy and security. And you won't even see any of my profiles connected to her either. It's just a safety thing. Because, I know that I'm out kind of a little bit in the public, but I don't want to drag her into the public either. Because you can only put somebody out there once, but you can't really take them away. So on my end, I want to make sure that I keep everything safe for her, so to speak. So I'm not going that far out with it, but it was a great time. We had a ton of fun. It was a much needed break. And then, yeah, I just wanted to share that a little bit. Now, guys, last week, what did we talk about? Do you guys remember? We talked about how having a chance encounter with somebody can change that person's life forever. And that outro was very, very powerful for me. And I had a lot of people reach out to me after the show and say, hey, that was really inspirational what you shared. And I appreciate you shared somebody else's story. And I saw something this week that really made me start thinking. And I know every now and then we'll see a random post or a random quote and our mind will get jogging. And I saw this one and it really made me sit back and say, you know what? I want to talk with everyone about that for a moment. And it said, someone you may have known for only 10 days could have better intentions than someone you have known for 10 years. Time means nothing. Character does. Okay. And it really got me thinking because earlier we were talking about eBay and we were talking about the changes that they're looking to bring to the platform. And I really have to emphasize, you have to be careful about those who are trying to change you. Now, we've talked about good change and we've talked about bad change and how there's a clear difference between the two, but we've never really talked about the motive behind why somebody may be trying to change you. Whether it be just benign advice to go and do a specific thing, or if it's some heavy-handed advice. The motivation behind somebody's advice is huge. And it's very telling of the person and their character, and also your ability to dissect this advice and understand the motivation behind it is a reflection of your character and your intelligence as well. Nobody wants to be duped by somebody else or feel like a rube. We don't want those things to happen. But when we talk about the edge or the advantage somebody is getting by the advice that they're giving, it's important to understand. Some people have misclassified me and said that I am all about the money. And I said, okay, screw it. I'll get rid of all my sponsors then. You got them, right? No, well, they'll still say, well, you're trying to push Patreon on me, so you must be all about the money. I said, well, I can make $4,000 a month if I wasn't doing this. So got them. But when we talk about house edge even, it makes me think about the casino. Who has the real edge there? Because you have to think about it. When the casino wants you to come down and go gamble with them, they'll incentivize you. They'll really try and make it worth your trouble, make it worth your while to come and do this thing. Come do this. You're going to have an opportunity to win great money, and we're going to make it easy for you. We're going to pay for your room. We're going to pay for your food, and we'll even give you a $50 gas card for travel. I know that sounds wild and crazy, but that's how my casino trips go. $450 room was comped, all of my food was comped, and I also received some gambling money from the casino. I used to gamble a lot up there before my days of doing this show, that is, but they still treat me well when I come down there. But they have the house edge. Now, what is our motivation? It's very clear. It's financial motivation. If we give him a little bit of money and we encourage him to come through the door, we ourselves have the opportunity to make money as well. Okay, and you'll see other companies do a similar type of thing. We'll give you 30 days free. Give us a go. Okay, but at the end of the day, the motivation is very, very clear. These brands want to make money, cash, dollars. Okay, if the casino had my best interest in mind, what would they tell me to do? Stay home. Stay right where you're at. We'll even give you $20. Don't come in. Okay, because odds are you're going to lose more money than you can potentially make here. But they're incentivized to have people spend money and lose money. We deal with people like this often, and we just simply don't realize it. And then sometimes people doing it to other people don't realize that they're even doing it to those other people. You can have the idea in your head that you have the best interest in mind of somebody else. And you can even say in your heart, I have their best interest in mind as well. But you might not be aware of the advice that you're giving as being self-serving. And it can be a difficult thing to understand if what you're doing can possibly be doing that. The motivations for why you would tell somebody to do something can be very, very varied. Very, very varied. Okay? Sometimes you're motivated because you want company. Nobody likes being alone. Sometimes we'll keep negative company around far longer than we should because the pain of negative company is less impactful than the pain of loneliness and being by ourselves. How many of us right now have people in our lives where we say, this person's always a handful, but they're there for me when I need them? Well, maybe life would be easier if they weren't there. Maybe life would be much, much easier if you didn't have to deal with the pain and anguish and drama and challenges and controversies and problems that they did bring into your life. Sometimes people will stay around because they want power, whether it's they feel they have power over you or they can gain power from you or from your presence. Maybe they want influence. They want the ability to feel like they can control the strings of what's happening, and they want that influence over you. Or they feel that your presence can give them influence. Or, as we said before, money. And I know sometimes we talk about religious things here and there. And I remember the first time I sat down to read the Bible, and I'm not a Christian myself now, but I spent many years as a Christian. And I remember stumbling across a word that was mammon, M-A-M-M-O-N. And I think we talked about it on air before, and it's basically anything that you can worship as much as you can, the Lord. And, in this context, it was referred to money. Money was being used as mammon. People worship money in that same capacity. So sometimes the decisions and motivations of others around you can be very much so financially incentivized. They could want the things you have. They could want the life you have. They could want the experiences that you have. Learning to sort out this noise from the people that are around you and trying to figure out who is actually there for your best interest and who is actually there for their best interest is a very challenging thing to do. It's a dirty and disgusting job that must be done. Okay? If you have people in your life right now and you look at them and you're not sure, okay, is this person really my friend, or are they just trying to stay close so that they can get some type of advantage? And I know that might be a wild concept to some of you, but ask yourself, is this a true friendship? Is this a symbiotic relationship? It can be a friend, it can be a family member, it can be a partner, it can be a boss, it can be whomever. And you can have these critical looks and this critical eye with them, okay? There's no shame in erring on the side of aggressive when it comes to stuff like this. Sure, we're going to misjudge some people, and sometimes we're going to screw up, okay? We're going to screw up and we're going to accuse somebody of having ulterior motives, and we might be wrong. But generally speaking, if you have that feeling in your chest and you have that feeling in your gut that something isn't right, maybe the way they talk, maybe the way they ask questions, maybe the way they encourage you to do things that are really of no concern to them. Maybe they're a concern to somebody else, or maybe they have an edge. But I do want to say this. As you go through your filtering process in life and you start to remove the toxic elements from your life, you find a very strong feeling of relaxation will come over you. Because I'm not worried about their problems and their problems and their interest and their motivations. I'm worried about mine and my life and my happiness. And I'm putting that number one and not allowing anyone else to interfere with that. Thin out the toxic from your life and don't be afraid to say goodbye to somebody who's been in your life for 10 years. Okay? Because your friendship is a gift. And if somebody hasn't earned that gift, stop giving it to them. Okay? You deserve better. And I mean that to every single one of you. But just remember, when you say goodbye to these people that have false motives for keeping you in their life, just remember, do it with tact. Because these people that don't have your best interest in mind now will continue to not have your best interest in mind after you stop being their friend. But don't be afraid to pull the trigger because of the potential repercussions. Because I'll tell you what the consequences are of expelling negativity from your life. It's happiness. It's thoroughly nice. It's allowed me to take big, deep breaths of happiness and satisfaction. I said goodbye to somebody today. One of the persons who came in with 3 different profiles tonight to dislike my video because I banned them from my channel because their motives were very, very poor. And they were attempting to extract information from me, extract information from our brand, and share it with other content creators here on YouTube. And we see you coming and going, and we know exactly what you're doing, okay? But pay no homage to them. We're here for the happiness. And if you come in and you try and rattle things up a little bit more, we'll say goodbye to you again, and that's no harm from our back. Guys, it's been a fantastic time with you tonight. I think we've had a wonderful time. Let me look at some of these comments. If you have any questions, great time to ask them. Hello again, and welcome to everyone who's new here tonight. Free toasters if you come on down. Guys, act quick. Daniel 2500 is giving out free toasters tonight. Beth says, yep, I have one of those. Sadly, don't be afraid to purge them, guys. This is a good one. Yellow Brick Reselling. I have been so frustrated by the reselling mentors and how 99% of them are out to make a buck off you. Guys, I've had people come to me and offer to sign up for my $100 a month Patreon. And some of you are watching right now. And I've told them, no, you don't need that. You're going to be better off with the 50 or the 20. And I mean it. I don't want to sell you something you don't need. Genuinely, what's the benefit of it? You're just going to charge it back. You're going to cancel it out. Okay? I am here for you, firstly. And then I'm hoping the money comes second. And you know what? If we never make it, if we never get to the funding to where it needs to be, I can sit back and I can say I tried my hardest. But I really hope that come 2020, we can get some new people on board and really help scale this. I want to get away from ads. I don't want any ads running on any of my videos. I want to be the only reselling channel on YouTube that has no sponsors, no advertisements, no paid content. I want everything to be legitimate and transparent from front to back. And you know, frankly, that's why people don't like me. I'm changing the climate here, guys. I want fair and free and helpful information for everyone out there who's watching. Guys, what else do we got? Liking the Movember look. Thank you. Thank you. Movember's been fantastic to me. Yellow Brick says, I was booted from a Facebook group today because I shared a wholesale resource to help someone on Amazon. They sell an ungating service, which I had overlooked. That is a disgusting reason to get banned from a group. And this is my #1 YouTube channel. Thank you, guys. Honestly, here's the thing, too. If you want to help what we're doing and you just don't... Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to be honest with you. If you're a reseller, you have the money. Okay? There's no one here who can't give 80 cents a day to keep us on air. It just doesn't exist. Okay? You have the money. I'm not going to tell you that you have to pay. Okay? So we're not going to sit here and play the song and dance and say, oh, it's a matter if you have the money or not. We all have the money. But if you don't want to give the money, that's okay. If you want to help me grow and you want to help this be a bigger thing, at a minimum, take this video, click the share button, post it on your Facebook timeline, send it to somebody that you know that's a reseller. Better yet, take it, post it into a group and say, hey, I really like this guy's content. It's good. I think you can learn something if you go check it out. That's all I ask. That's how you can really help us grow. Guys, this has been the Sunday Reseller Roundup for, what is it? November 10th, 2019. I have had a heck of a time with you. I think we only have 2 more shows before the end of the year, before we go on a brief hiatus into December. Let's make them good ones. Guys, remember, if you don't make that money, someone else will. I'll see you next week. Don't miss it. Have a great night, guys.